Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right, motherfuckers. Welcome back, John Axel, in this motherfucking terrible show. This show sucks ass. 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 What the fuck is up? It's the motherfucking News Underground. The motherfucking News Underground. My computer is running like shit. My computer is running like shit. What's up, y'all? How you doing? Big props to 3DMG, the underground stream. It's the perfect album. Absolutely lovely album. 3DMG with the underground stream. This is the photo of the cassette. Tried to buy some of these rap cassettes. Motherfuckers got them on eBay for like $600. Like, I'm just gonna look. I got blank tapes. Okay, look. I'm sorry, 3DMG. I'm not gonna spend $600 fucking dollars on a cassette tape. What do I look like? I almost started getting into the habit of doing that shit with video games. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not buying a PS2 game for $500. You know what I'm saying? $100 maximum. Unless that shit is like the epitome of rare. Speaking of PS2, my wife got me these wonderful PS2 games for Christmas, I believe. Either Christmas or my birthday. This is my birthday, actually. Yeah, no, this is for my birthday because we went to the cabin. Brand new, sealed. Look at that. Sealed, bruh. Won't have to open those up. I'll just emulate. So welcome to the motherfucking News Underground, folks. How you doing? I am Abandoned Nihilism, and this is the best news stream on Twitch, bar none, without a doubt, but also the most exhausting. I mean, I don't have any good news. There's like zero good news. Here, John Axel, if you're still here, you get to pick uplifting news. You get to pick the good news segment that we talk about today. Hey, greetings from South Boston, it's your boy Lenny. It's your boy Lenny, the #1 financial contributor to the News Underground. Thank you, Lenny, for coming back. Getting more in this News Underground. We got a big fat stream for you, by the way. We got Yemen, we got Canada, we got Ecuador, we got US. It's exciting. Sure, that's the right attitude. I'm PewDiePie. Like and subscribe. Welcome to my family. We're going to be talking about mass shootings after the U.S. update. Palestine, then Ukraine at the end there. And Palestine and Ukraine segments are going to be anemic compared to normal. We covered it pretty heavy yesterday. Did an exclusive Gaza Ukraine stream yesterday. So which one you want here, John Axel? This is the good news segment we're going to do in the middle of the stream. Marijuana meets criteria for reclassification as lower risk drug. Pretty good. Man rewarded $1,000 monthly and $10,000 annually for good deeds in decade of kindness. Oh, that's cool. Let's do that one. Here we go. Local man hopes to inspire community with decade of kindness. All right, there we go, John Axel. Your silence. This is it. We'll do it after the murder update. That's when we're going to need some good news. I'm hanging out with you. Goddamn right, Lenny. Lenny's an OG. Fascinating fella. So I'm honored that you're here, Lenny. Thank you. And don't forget to check out Lenny's stream, y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe on Lenny's stream there. But we'll do that after the mass shooting update. Perfect. Big props to Rambalag, who has a very funny title for his video. Japan walking at night in a Koigara forest. No pranks, not scary. ASMR. Are American men free? You feel free anymore? No. Technically, no. You're as free as, as your limitations of free speech. I mean, you want to see the limitations of Americans' freedom? Take a look at Occupy Wall Street. Right? 100%. Take a look at Occupy Wall Street, and there you go. Though that is the limitation of your current limitations of freedom. They pulled out all the spy gadgets. All the spy gadgets. Oh man, they just had fun. All these little vans, all these little microphones and cameras, and cops walking around, with GoPro cameras, putting the camera in front of everyone's face so they can get the facial recognition going. Oh yeah. Anyway, before we get to our big news, just a climate update for you here. Had to talk about this. Want to make sure this is as low as possible. There we go. But I wanted to warn you more than anything. Only drink bottled water when it's an emergency. Drink water out of the faucet. Drink water out of the hose. You're still going to have microplastics in it. But as I suspected for years, and I'm not playing, because there's a reason why I'm drinking out of glass vessels most of the time, and I'm breaking my rule. I'm breaking my rule with this cup. Normally I would have transported, but it's already far too late. These paper cups have a plastic fucking lining that dissolves into your drink. So you got a hot beverage like a coffee, that plastic, it's not wax. It's plastic. And it fucking melts into your drink, dude. But I need some fucking caffeine. But this shit is no joke. Bottled water contains hundreds of thousands of plastic bits. And it makes perfect sense. These water bottles, the thinnest plastic you've ever seen in your life. Never put a paper cup in the microwave. Oh, will it catch fire? Delicious microplastics. Well, let's just say I have a very personal reason for why I think we should be doing something about microplastics. Plastic coated. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. All these paper cups, there's plastic linings in some tin cans. Can't avoid it. They can't avoid it. Some scientist in the 70s said, oh yeah, everything's food safe. These petrochemicals. I agree with Davey. We should eliminate all single use, all tin cans, huh? I'm son of a bitch. Some asshole in who knows when, Lenny would probably know, he's a safety expert. Some asshole decades ago said, oh, all these petrochemicals are just fine. Put them in your food. So the hard plastics are definitely better. Hot liquids, and the more hot liquid you pour through that plastic sucky part of the bottle, yeah, the plastic is breaking down. The plastic is melting. Same problem with Tupperware and oily hot food. 100%. It's real. It's legitimate. I just wanted to warn everybody. And I like to see that we're finally getting data. It's too late for the millennials. Might even be too late for the Zoomers. But there is a connection between cancer, the rise of cancer. Everyone's getting cancer for something or other. Okay, and I'm not saying it's exclusively microplastics, but we are ingesting plastic. Legitimate. Don't let them lie to you. All right, so I just wanted to warn you about that. If you want to read the whole article, it's right here. It's got all this stats and scientific data that no one gives a fuck about. I mean, it's not really true, because we are seeing, I mean, at least in California, we are seeing, not just California, but it's like bits and pieces, right? Some places sometimes will have the recycled wood, silverware, the potato, the recycled potato containers, right, that are biodegradable. 45 rounds of radiation, prostate cancer. My God, Lenny, I had no idea, man. Sorry to hear that. Well, I'm very happy to hear that. We'll see that you're alive and well and doing well. You recently did some traveling. My uncle is going through his own cancer battle, and I'm hoping to visit him this year. So yeah, no, I mean he's every time I talk to him, he's telling me about his his chemo journey, and so terrible. He's like, oh, I'm going through hell week, and that's the week after chemo when you're just sick as a dog. Till $20 donating of free water. Wow, Chess, I think I see where you're going here, buddy. So why don't we just cut to the chase, and I just go ahead and ban you right now? Is there any more stupid talking points you'd like to throw in the chat before I show you the door? Let's just get this over with. I can see where you're going, right? Let me guess, all BLM protesters are rioters too, right? Yawn. Fucking snoozing. Can we just cut to the chase where you pretend like you've won the argument and fuck off? Yeah, Davin, interesting, huh? When did I start? I'm like hitting the chess algorithm. What the fuck is going on? Third guy. Fuck is up with you chess freaks? U.S. delivers. So we got Yemen news, folks. Let's get to it. We got to turn down the music on my end here. One sec. It's a fucking amazing beat. U.S. delivers private message to Iran after Yemen strike. So this is the latest news. We're going to get into a few of the older bits here just to catch everybody up. But the latest out of Yemen is U.S. delivers private message to Iran after Yemen strikes. President Biden says the U.S. has delivered a quote-unquote private message to Iran about the Houthis in Yemen after the U.S. carried out a second strike on the group. We, quote, we delivered it privately and we're confident we're well prepared, he said without giving further details. The U.S. said its latest strike was a quote-unquote follow-on action. Well, the clever new terms, follow on, huh? They just, the reason why we always see this new, it keeps you bewildered. What does that even mean? Follow on action. But it keeps you bewildered, keeps you like on your toes, questioning. And then if you don't have the news media to give you any context about what any of it means or, what it used to mean or, when they're not doing their job, they can get away with it. So anyway, the U.S. said its latest strike was a follow-on action targeting radar. Maybe if Davey was here, he could give us the, the skinny on that one. Iran denies involvement in attacks by the Houthis in the Red Sea. However, Tehran is suspected of supplying the Houthis with weapons, and the U.S. says that Iranian intelligence is critical to enabling them to target ships. Oh, hey, Davey. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Davin, Davey, Lenny, Cats all the way down. Interesting name. And John Axel, number one in the chat, John Axel. But yeah, does that make any... You ever heard of this? Is this a military term? Follow-on action? What does this mean? Yo, Borderline Feline in the house. Thank you for coming back. Everybody, thank you for coming back. I do appreciate it. It's good to see the OGs, members of the News Underground. Only motherfuckers on planet Earth trying to keep it real, it seems. Everybody else wants, like, the spotlight. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Because, like, I have that jealousy too, but it's like, I don't want the spotlight if the stage looks like the ending to Carrie. You know what I mean? Everything's on fire. Fucking people are getting mutilated. Like, I don't want to be up here. I would rather have the stage when we're talking about, common sense and, trying to make people's lives better. But it's like a war. It's a fucking war right now. I think it just means continuation of current actions. Follow on actions. I'm going to try to use that in normal conversation when talking to somebody. See how that goes. You're what? Yeah, I'm following on. Does that mean you're doing the thing you're doing? Maybe. I'm just gonna start talking like the U.S. government. I don't know what he believes. I don't know what he's gonna do. Everything's ambiguous. However, Tehran is suspected of supplying. So, I mean, this is amazing. Iran really, according to the U.S., really seeding some chaos here. You know, I'm curious if what we're seeing is some kind of pretext to some invasion. I mean, it's the only one that hasn't been invaded yet. By the way, we do have an Iraq update. Remember Iraq? That thing that we're still doing? Yeah, we got a little update at the end of this of the U.S. segment about Iraq. Joint UK-U.S. airstrikes targeted nearly 30 Houthi positions in the early hours of Friday with the support of the Western allies, including Australia and Canada. A day later, the U.S. Central Command said it carried out its latest strike on a Houthi radar site in Yemen using Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles. Oh, wow, Tomahawks. Do you think they paint a Tomahawk on there? I bet they do. A Houthi spokesman told Reuters the strikes had no significant impact on the group's ability to affect shipping. It's shit. It's 2024 and the world is still at war with itself. Yeah, Yorkshire pudding. Yeah, I mean, you know, Christmas is nice and all, as you can see. I'm even still wearing my Christmas sweater. It's fucking cold. So I'm just like, I'm not taking it off until it warms up, okay? Yes, I have more than one sweater. No, I'm not going to change it. Shut up. Anyway, Houthi spokesman told Reuters the strikes had no significant impact on the group's ability to affect shipping. The Houthis are an armed group. Yeah, okay. We don't need to get into the history here. We got video to do this. You don't need to hear me barely reading my fucking second grade reading comprehension. But there's the article if you want to finish it. Let's get to the video here from The Guardian. Thousands protest in Yemen after U.S.-UK strikes on Houthi targets. Let's take a look. My computer, by the way, is running like pure, unfiltered dookie. And I've rebooted it, and I've done a few things, but I don't know. I think I got someone jacking into the Matrix or something. Actually, let me kill Discord, because that is a big resource hog. All right. The world is overwhelmingly peaceful. Okay, yeah, that is a the card says moops argument, Davey. Look it up, the right-wing talking points, fucking FAQ, whatever the fuck those videos. But no, you're over here, cards say moops, because I mentioned that as well. It is technically the most peaceful, but the actors that are creating chaos have the capability to create the most carnage than ever. Yeah, well, and Davey, have you ever been in a tornado? Davey, you ever been in a tornado, buddy? Do you know how calm and quiet and peaceful everything feels right before that tornado hits? Right? You ever been in the eye of a hurricane? Because I've been in both. I've been in a tornado and the eye of a hurricane, and it's, let's grill. Sun comes out a little bit sometimes. So yeah, okay, yeah, it's all technically peaceful, but like I said, the actors that are creating the most carnage have the capability to create mega death on a level unseen by humanity. And yeah, I'm talking about China, but I'm also talking about United States, Russia. I don't know about Russia's military anymore, dude. I don't know, man. Outside of those nukes and the cruise missiles, I don't know, man. I think NATO versus Russia would be really interesting. The full force of NATO versus the Russian military, I think, would be a really fascinating fight. Looks peaceful outside my place. It's -40, though. It's so cold. All right, let's get into this video. Yeah, Davey, that I agree. China and the U.S. gain more from not going to war. But isn't that always the case, though? Let me get an enhanced bit rate here. Paying the premium. This is the protest. after the airstrike. Holy fuck! Look how many. So, Davey, you think this is do you think this is a good strategy? Stirring up this kind of shit? Oh, we just heard an Allah Akbar. There we go. See, now my mic is too quiet. Hold up. Allah Akbar. I think Yemen is irrelevant. Okay. Oh. Okay. You read this rally was from 2023, really? Yeah, because this was posted 1 day ago. Drone video shows thousands of people marching in Yemen's capital, Sana's, to protest after U.S. and U.K. launched strikes on targets in several of the country's cities overnight in retaliation against Houthi forces for attacks on Red Sea shipping. The commander of U.S. aerial operations in the Middle East said 60 targets at 16 separate locations had been hit using more than 100 precision-guided munitions. The Houthis said 5 of their fighters had been killed in a total of 73 airstrikes. How much did this cost us? 5? 5? How much did this cost? More than 100 guided munitions, 73 airstrikes. We got 5? And that they would retaliate and continue their attacks on shipping, which they describe as a demonstration of support for Palestinians and their conflict with Israel. Interesting. Oh, I should have had this next to the Palestine segment. Wow. They got 5. Well, that might be according to the enemy, so they might be downplaying it. If they're irrelevant, then how have they disrupted global shipping? I mean, it's the Strait of Hormuz, right? Isn't that it? Take Russia's logic. Take that 5 and multiply it by 100. Yeah, Davey. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. 5 is way too low, but I don't know. I mean, the U.S., memory's short. Memory's short. The U.S. would just blow the hell out of civilians, completely obliterate an entire wedding party. And then coldly and cynically say every adult male that was murdered is a member of, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, fill in the Blankistan, ISIL, ISIS, whatever the hell. And then, a real accounting of who was murdered. And it's like, oh, yeah, a 13-year-old kid got killed. And, his 16-year-old brother got killed. And, they were on their way to college. So who knows what's real. But still, though, I mean, how many was that? Was that $1 billion? Was that $1 billion strike? Over 100 precision-guided munitions, 73 airstrikes. How much do you think that cost the American taxpayer dollar? Did that help me? Is that helping you? Is that helping anybody? Blowing these fuckers to smithereens? Okay, so it's an airfield. Holy shit. All right, I mean, if it's military targets, it's one thing. It's a radar site. All right, I mean, yeah, okay, we're not doing a Russia over here. Targets include radar, air defense systems, as well as storage and launch sites for cruise and ballistic missiles. Okay, all right. I mean, I'm not cool with it. I'm not cool with the United States.
These strikes overnight came
Sorry, volume insanely loud. I'm not cool with the United States doing this stuff, but there is a difference. Military targets, that is something.
Week after the U.S. and its allies basically gave the Houthis an ultimatum and told them they needed to stop this uptick in attacks on ships passing through the Red Sea, or they would face a military response.
I mean, look, the United States, outside of the sheer hypocrisy of the United States in telling any country that don't be aggressive to another country for whatever reason. Outside of that hypocrisy, the United States is obligated to defend itself and its allies. And similar to the rocket strategy, I don't know. I feel like this is actually more effective than the rocket strategy, right? This is affecting dollars and cents. This is affecting money. The rockets, Does it even generate fear? It's just propaganda for Bibi Netanyahu at this point. The last rocket barrage in Christmas killed nobody in Israel, which is a good thing. But it's like, hey guys, chalkboard, can we maybe rethink this strategy? They already hijacked and kidnapped like 5 ships and shot missiles and drones at 10s more. They deserve to be attacked back. Yeah, I mean, you can't let that go unanswered. It hurts every country on earth, but one country in particular. Interesting quote. Egypt. Was that a quote from the country of Egypt? The sentient country of Egypt. Just these countries just start talking. Oh, that would be something. Boy, they'd be spilling some tea, honey. All right, well, let's see this, because I don't, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think the U.S. does have to respond somehow, and it was a strike exclusively on military targets. It wasn't like what I was explaining, like a wedding party getting bombed in Iraq or Afghanistan. So those are important details.
And what we've seen overnight
it hurts
is that,
Egypt the
yes,
most,
they
by far.
are willing to respond. We don't have any initial assessment from the U.S. or its allies with much specificity about what they've hit or how effective those attacks were.
The U.S. can just obliterate your entire country. If the U.S. wanted to, it could do a grand strike, probably take out over 90% of the Yemen like military facilities in one strike. Jesus. That was a nasty one. Look at that. Holy shit. Obliterated, dude. Probably 3, 4, 5 floors down, dude. Crews operating Suez Canal. Yeah, Suez Canal and Strait of Hormuz. That's the big stink, right? Because operating Suez Canal is one of the most important sources of wealth and commerce and influence of Egypt. Yeah, it is. The Panama Canal, I hear, is drying up. Is that true?
The Houthis have said that these strikes would not deter them from threatening shipping lanes, which they've increased these attacks in response to Israel's war in Gaza, of course.
Anyone else see this? These people hanging out in the flag.
In response to...
What are you doing, you goofballs? What are you doing? What are you doing, you fucking goofballs? I guess they need people in the center to hold it up. They're all poking through.
Israel's war in Gaza, of course.
Like literally wrapping yourself in the flag.
Their rallying cry is death to Israel, death to the U.S.
Jeez,
So
I don't know if they. I think they don't like
this.
This
Could embolden them. It has given them a confrontation that they've been sort of asking
breathing
for
holes,
a long time. So
I've never
while
seen
the
that.
US
Is that
is
common
trying to frame
thing?
this as a deterrent step, it could be a move towards a larger confrontation.
Lenny over here. Lenny over here worrying about logistics. I don't know, man. Probably a lot of people just crapping in the dirt. There's a lot of desert. There's a nice park over here. But yeah, probably a logistical nightmare. Do you know what the letters on the Houthi flag say? I don't. Please inform me. I'd love to know. They had a major effect on global shipping. Not irrelevant, or they wouldn't have drawn this response. True, but USA not able to look beyond their schoolyard perspective and see that striking Houthis won't destroy them, and in fact plays into their Iran's hands. Yeah, I mean, but actions have consequences for them now, though, right? And the people that are making these decisions, that that are doing this, now have to say, okay, it's gotten serious. The United States is not afraid to escalate. The United States is not afraid to do this again, and will absolutely get away with it. No one, as Davey said, no one even fucking cares. I'm the only person on Twitch probably covering Yemen right now. Welcome back, Carl Toes. I don't know about your icon, dude. I guess I don't know. Am I supposed to be offended by your icon? Is that you? That can't be you. Are you a white person with that icon? I don't know about that, dude. I feel like it is a questionable icon, but it's also just somebody's face as well. God damn it. The racists on the internet. The racists on the internet have done such a good job. Let me say, take a look. Houthi flag translates, God is the greatest, death to America, death to Israel. Yeah, look, it's so you should have asterisked out like something like maybe death or something, because I can't allow death to Israel to be allowed on my stream. Jeff Bezos will get really mad at me. Okay, so yeah, I see what you're saying here, but yeah, it was the death to Israel part. But yeah, I have to deny that, or else Jeff Bezos will get very mad at me. I don't want to make Jeff mad, okay? He's my buddy. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
The U.S. says tonight...
Yeah, me and Jeff, we go way back. You know, I fixed his computer once way back in the day, and he hooked me up with some Amazon stock, and, I sold it 3 days later because I didn't know what it was, and he hasn't returned my calls.
Is not interested in a war with Yemen, just hours after American and British missiles hit Houthi rebel positions there. 5 people were killed and 6 wounded, but a White House spokesman said President Biden's actions were about preventing any escalation of conflict. The joint military strikes were in response to nearly 2 months of attacks by the Iran-backed Houthi movement on cargo ships in the Red Sea, disrupting commercial shipping and the global economy. The Houthis say that they're targeting Western support for Israel. A coalition of countries were involved in last night's military operation to destroy Houthi military infrastructure and munitions. Some of the targets were in the Yemeni capital, Sana'a. The Houthis, who control much of Yemen, retaliated by firing 1 ballistic missile today, which failed to hit a target, and they warned that Britain and the US will pay a heavy price for their aggression. Here's our international editor.
That's Brazil order. Those are good aspirational goals for Brazil.
Editor Jeremy Bowen.
In Sana'a, Yemen's capital, a huge rally against the airstrikes and in support of Palestinians filled the cities.
They're the only ones doing the thing with the flag, okay? Leave me alone, okay? Everyone else is doing normal flags. These goofballs over here are the ones peeking out of it. Don't give me that nonsense. It's probably just like an old flag and there's holes in it, so they're like, why not stick my head out?
Huge rally against the airstrikes and in support of Palestinians filled the city's broadest boulevard.
Live long and prosper.
It was organized. The Houthis do not allow unauthorized protests. But without question, millions in Yemen and across the Arab world are appalled by Israel's conduct of the Gaza war and regard the American and British airstrikes as an escalation on Israel's behalf.
Don't allow unauthorized
During the night,
protests.
the Americans
Don't you love
launched their
theocracies?
attack from a carrier battle group in the Red Sea. Like Britain, they'd warned the Houthis that this was coming.
Dude, you see that those jets kick in? That's sick.
In the Red Sea.
Look at that. Hold on.
Like Britain, they'd warned the Houthis that this was coming if they didn't stop hitting shipping. The airstrikes are intended to show that Western red lines won't turn pink under pressure.
Was he going to do it again?
But if anything,
that one didn't
the
do it.
Houthis will be even more determined to carry on. Yahya Saree, a Houthi military spokesman.
Bro, you gave yourself all those fucking medals, man. How many frontline battles do you think Homeboy's been in?
Said the American.
Carl Toes, you got to answer my question about this icon, dude. I can't let this stand, homie. You seem like a nice person, but I can't let you get away with this fucking avatar, bro. It's questionable. Are you a white guy with this avatar? Straight up, let me know, dude. I can't abide by this. Every time I see your name, I see this. I'm not trying. It's like, but it could also be someone's regular ass face, and I'm the one being racist. I don't know. So I hate you. I hate you. I hate you, Twitch people. Fucking Twitch people are so weird. Okay.
Americans and British were responsible for criminal aggression,
all right,
which would be answered with attacks on all.
Is that your face? Can you please change your avatar, please, to literally anything else? A Pepe the Frog. Unless that is you. You're driving me. You're Carl. I can't abide. Do a reverse image. I don't have time for that crap. I'm trying to cover the fucking news over here, but I got Jeff Bezos barking down my fucking neck. If I don't moderate my chat and I let racists hang out, they'll kick my ass out like Nick Fuentes. Okay, back to this ridiculous son of a bitch.
All hostile targets on land and sea. The RAF released video of its jets taking
We
off
didn't hear what he said.
a Houthi.
The picture, your avatar, your picture.
Yahya Saree, a Houthi military spokesman, said the Americans and British were responsible for criminal aggression, which would be answered with attacks on all hostile targets on land and sea. The RAF released video of its jets taking off for Yemen from the British base in Cyprus. The British are trying to distance airstrikes aimed at opening the Red Sea from the war in Gaza.
It's clear that this type of behaviour can't be met without a response. We need to send a strong signal that this breach of international law is wrong. People can't.
I was like, is this what London looks like now? Like, oh no, homie's in Ukraine.
This within impunity, and that's why, together with allies, we've decided to take this action.
Even more emphatically, an American military spokesman told CBS News in the U.S. that.
And same thing with this clown fucking town, dude. How many frontline battles you been in, man? It just ain't right. You get to adorn yourself with all these goddamn medals. You haven't fucking, I don't know. American generals sometimes have been, right, spend time. But I don't know, man. It just seems so gross. Hang all these goddamn medals off yourself. For what? For what, dude? Where's the medal for the kind old lady running the food kitchen? She's done more. I don't know. It's like, well, we need generals. I don't know. I just feel like it looks ridiculous. Sorry.
The strikes were nothing to do with Gaza.
It's important to differentiate between what's happening between Israel and Hamas and what's happening in the Red Sea. You have the Houthi rebels that are conducting indiscriminate attacks against international shipping. Over 50 countries have been affected by this, affecting the economic prosperity of multiple nations.
But the Houthis, whose commanders captured a ship in the Red Sea in December, say their attacks are to support Palestinians in Gaza and to hit Israel's allies.
You can't let this stand. You got to respond to it. A lot of those are probably service ribbons, not medals. They indicate they're in campaigns he's taking part in. They ain't really awards. As long as they're all merit-based. You know what I mean? Like legitimate, I helped the people. Right? It's too much. It's too much. Look at all this. We get it. I don't know. Look, I get it. I know you're in the military, world. So I'm probably, what I'm saying is probably heretical, but I'm not impressed. Okay, because I'm not impressed with the military-industrial complex. I'm not impressed with the United States intelligence apparatus. It's an unimpressive, sloppy operation that's creating blowback all over the goddamn globe. I'm not impressed. Oh, well, you don't know what you're going. You don't know what you're talking about. Probably. But the public perception isn't great. A lot of people agree with me. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. Well, then that's a fucking problem. Because guess where they're getting their resources from? They derive their power from the governed. Oh, well, they need them. You want them on that wall. You want them on that wall. Do I? We'll get that Iraq update. We're still in Iraq. Good God, why?
Palestinians in Gaza and to hit Israel's allies. Iran provides the Houthis training and weapons, and the Houthis say these attacks will go on until the fighting in Gaza stops. Britain and the US oppose an immediate ceasefire in the war. The airstrikes, this was the RAF raid, are only partly about freedom of navigation in the Red Sea. The reality...
Look, there's a desperation to all this, though, because the United States, the Western allies, don't listen to, pleas and cries for mercy. Doesn't really matter to them. I mean, in a way, realpolitik, right? Realpolitik, however you say it. This is really the only language that the United States ever really listens to or responds to is terrorism, violence, threats, power. And that is a problem. That is a problem for the West and the United States. It's how the Western allies do business. By force, by hook or by crook, our way or the highway. It's a power. It does at the moment. It feels like a grand game of world domination of empires, right? And the United States, I think, feels like it's winning that grand game. Welcome back, Orange Hue. Even Twitter is a visually symbolic reward system. Humans love showing off their resume so we can rank each other. Interesting. Where are these comments coming from? Are you in the right chat?
Is that they're also directly linked to events in Gaza and represent an escalation in the crisis that is gripping the Middle East. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News.
Yeah, so is that Alice Technica? Is this a Russian general? Yeah. I mean, it just gets more and more absurd. He's like leaning over because he's got 50 pounds of self-appointed medals. Oh yeah, I bet you if you asked him what each one meant, he couldn't even tell you. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right, dude. Crypt Keeper over here. No, I'm not going to make ageist comments. My apologies. Not right. All right, there you go, folks. That's my Yemen coverage. Whoa. That's my Yemen coverage. Wanted to jump into a little bit of Canadian news, just real quick. Everyone's like groaning right now. Oh, talk about Palestine. Talk about all the murder. We'll get to the murder. Okay? Got plenty of death coming up. Everyone calm down. Looks ridiculous with chest full of medals. But it's like the United States, all these other militaries, they're really not, I get it, though. Look, sacrifice, real sacrifice to your country should be rewarded. I think, okay, you wear that on your sleeve, literally. I'm okay with that. But let me ask you a question, chat. What has the military-industrial complex done for you? Oh, well, Davey would say prevent a big invasion. Thank you for that follow, Samuel Animates. Uh-oh. I smell a sales pitch coming. You got a portfolio, Samuel, that you want to hand me over, bud? You want to help my stream, make it better? I'm cool with that. Send me over that portfolio, dude. So we got to talk about liberalism run amok. Davey, you heard right. Davey he claims to not be a conservative, but homie's a conservative. But we're going to talk about this. Fox News article. Yeah, no, we're going to talk about this. Liberals need to learn how to not be this shitty. Listen to this. We got porch pirates all over Canada. I had my table stolen. I literally had my table stolen from my front porch. My table. It's a $50 glass IKEA table, right? Something you'd leave outside, right? So you can sit there and drink a vodka at 6 o'clock, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? And think about life while you're looking at the stars. One of those tables. They stole the table, but not the 2 chairs. It's endemic. It's everywhere. So what are the cops saying? Canadian police warn that posting videos of alleged package thieves could be a violation of their privacy. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Heavens to Betsy, no. You cannot post the images yourself because you have to remember in Canada we have a presumption of innocence, the police officer warned. Fuck you. I had most of my video game collection that I had stored in a self-storage locker pilfered by bastards like this. Not this guy. I don't know who this guy is. This guy. Who the hell is this guy? Anthony Anderson. Oh, that's Anthony Anderson? Boy, they did. Who drew this? Did AI draw this? Holy shit. Oh, it's gone. Oh, now it's Packers versus Cowboys, huh? Oh, hey, do you guys want free football stuff? Here, I won't show it on stream. But there is this like website I found yeah, dude. Is this it? No, I don't know if this one's it. But we wanted to like look up. I tried to buy a stream. I'll put it in the Discord. I can't remember the name. It says Boss. It's like Boss or something like that. But I was looking for a football game. I was trying to buy it legally. It was nearly impossible. It was infuriating. So I said, fuck it. I'm stealing it. Typed in, free NFL streams. Flat. I'll put that in the Discord for everybody. No, dude. So, yeah, some of that stuff doesn't work in Canada. Infuriating. Infuriating. I know. I'm sorry. Okay, U.S. education over here. U.S. education. But no, guys, there's a presumption of innocence.
It's not easy to struggle with substance use.
He ain't kidding, dog.
Support you need, it doesn't have to be quite so hard.
Yeah.
The thing that helps might not be the same for everyone.
True.
So it can help to know where to start.
Hey, man, look at that. Mental health. That's what socialism looks like in a properly functioning country. That's literally the government using taxpayer dollars to remind people that there are services that they can go to for free if they are depressed. That's what socialism looks like, folks.
I saw somebody on my Ring camera.
Oh, this poor innocent. Oh, gosh. Innocent, guys. Innocent till proven guilty, dudes.
He took a box and a parcel.
Innocent till proven guilty. Come on, guys.
Jacket, white hoodie, gray
Presumption of innocence now.
Excuse me. Hi.
Yeah.
Right there. Stop.
Stop moving, dickhead. Stop moving. There you go. Tase his ass. Fucking tase his ass. Oh, my God. 300-pound cop. Whoa! Yeah, bitch! Woo! Take that son of a bitch down. Physically, not with shooting him. See, that's how real professionals do it, man. One more time. Replay. One more time. Look, big boy's over here, belly full of Timmies, right? With the, he's brains over brawn. He's brains over brawn. He's like, okay, I know where he's going. I'm going to drive up there, get ahead of him, right? Brains over brawn over here. Belly full of Timmies. This is like a different guy. Look at this. Out the car. Black. Black. Woo! Woo! Take that, you thieving son of a bitch. Hope it broke a rib. God, I hate thieves. I fucking hate them. So, liberals, look, it's funny. I'm like talking about how great socialism is because it really is. It could be something else, but this is like, it's a double-edged sword. And the liberals in Canada need to get their shit together. Okay? I have a right to defend myself in my home. If someone breaks into my home and I beat the shit out of them, I could go to jail in Canada. There's a lot of I would be tied up in court for months, right? There's all this whole presumption of, did you give him an opportunity to flee? Did you use a deadly weapon? Did he have a deadly weapon? Dude's in my house. So I do agree with the American way of handling, the castle doctrine, I think is what it's called. But like once you cross the threshold of someone's home in America, it's basically like ding, ding, ding. Let's go. Ding, bells ringing. It's fight time. It's fight time. You're in my house, dude. America brained. How many Have you been victimized, cats all the way down? Have you been, has someone with their physical strength taken something from you? Invaded your home? Have you ever had your home invaded? Could you imagine that? Could you empathize a little bit on that? Some dude like me with a ski mask on his face, putting a gun in your face or a hammer, right? You know, probably just a simple pipe, right? Oh, the cops have been called. They won't be there for another 4 minutes. Cops have been called. They won't be there for at least another 4 minutes. What are you going to do in 4 minutes? Make me tea? I believe in the ability to defend your house and your home. Okay? And Canada needs to catch up with that shit. Because I'm not, you know, it's like, yes, I'm a permanent resident here. I'm trying to become a citizen. I got to follow the laws, you know. But I find that to be incredibly lacking. It's also, it's like, well, you don't need to act that way because society isn't that dangerous. Society isn't that scary. No, it is, dude. And it's getting worse. The inequality is creating a desperation. You know, couple that with, you know, drug addiction and mental health crisis. I didn't click anything. What the hell? Fox News just doing its own thing. I am not an 85-year-old. Okay, I can't. Okay, I am not a paraplegic. Fox News. I didn't click on nothing. What the fuck is going on? What is this website? Fox News is cancer, dude. I clicked on nothing. It's just doing its own thing, dude. Why in the hell? It's playing the video unmuted. Bedlam. Bedlam on foxnews.com, dude. That's the future conservatives want. Got no damn choice. It's just force-fed, like, you know, like you're hooked up to a tube like Wall-E. I'm not talking about Second Amendment. I'm just talking about the right to defend yourself. And now, with that said, I do believe in the right to own a pistol, a shotgun, or a hunting rifle. Of course, after you've qualified, after you've gained a license, after you've shown the state that you know how to use it, you know how to clean it, and you know you're not a mental health risk, yada, yada, yada. In America, in Canada, where the proliferation of weapons has been contained, I don't know if I would open it up in the way that America has. With that said, someone comes into my home and I beat the shit out of that guy or kill him, I shouldn't be having to go to jail. Like, okay, I get it if I kill him, right? If some like naked drug addict busts into my home and, you know, and I just like shotgun him to death, you know, like he's just like completely like out of it, zoinked out of his mind. Okay, that's not cool. That's not cool. But, you know, someone comes into your home with a deadly weapon with the intent to hurt you or your family. Absolutely. You know, gloves are off, right? Gloves are off. That's how it should be. With that said, I think, you know, but what they're, you know, I think the reason why there's trepidation is because we've seen in America, you know, there was that famous case of that conservative who, you know, these people, I think they had car issues or something. They pulled into his driveway and they went up to like knock on the door, and he used that opportunity to unload into them and murder them. And he got away with it. He got away with it. Oh, stand your ground. I thought I was scared for my life. Right. So I think, you know, that's why there's trepidation. With that said, though, you know, you come into someone's house with deadly intent. I should not be, you know, like I need to prove that he had deadly intent. Okay. You know, I got to prove that. Abandoned nihilism, property is theft. Huh? Isn't that a commie slogan? Or what is that?
You successfully hit metal 17 times, so you are now proud owner of this photograph of motor car. I am happy. But property is theft, so you are now under arrest. Gaily, you successfully hit metal.
Yeah, fucking commies. You know, it's like I said, the communism is relevant because without communism, we wouldn't have socialism. Marx used those terms interchangeably. We need socialism to counterbalance capitalism. But my belief is that we can't go extreme in any one direction. Can't go extreme communism, can't go extreme capitalism. Like I said, we need to hybridize these systems until they're in some imperfect union. Very human. It's a very human kind of thing. I believe if we continue to hybridize socialism and capitalism, right, the weaknesses of capitalism, the gaps from those weaknesses filled in with socialism, we continue to do that, we'll create a new ism. You know, and what we should, instead of demanding we need more capitalism to fix the problem, or we need more communism to do it, we should be looking at the individual problems and saying, okay, what is the solution that makes most sense? Well, with cops, we need a socialist solution. You know, we obviously can't have private cops. Same thing with firefighters, right? Same thing with road work and bridges. That doesn't make sense to have private, you know, these things owned by private entities. But you know, my kids' baby clothes, right? I probably don't need the government making my kids' baby clothes. That kind of thing. I could go on and on. A drunk neighbor mistakes the doors. The thing is, when someone breaks into your home and it's really scary, so you shouldn't be held reasonable for your actions. No, I mean, Yorkshire, that's not what I'm saying. And I hope that's not what you're trying to say, that's what I'm saying. Because, yeah, no, like I said, I took the time to explain the whole scenario. Some, you know, naked weirdo. That actually happened to Cenk Uygur. I think he lives in L.A. A couple years ago. Some, like, naked guy geeked out. I don't know if he was naked, but he was partially clothed or something. Geeked out, busted into his home, and Cenk had to, like, hold him at bay and tell his family to go, get out of here. But he wasn't, he was, he was scatterbrained. He was on drugs and like, he wasn't a deadly threat. He was just completely erratic. And when you're in that state, like, social norms go out, you just walk into somebody's house, you'll just start, you'll invade someone's personal space. It'll feel like a threat. It'll feel threatening, but you're just completely zonked out. Davey, great example. Yeah, so I get it, right? So, like, there needs to be some proof, right? There needs to be some evidence that this guy was a deadly threat. You can't just go full American and and just, like, wait with your shotgun by the door. Someone's gonna knock on my door. I'm gonna fucking blow them away. It's like we should avoid that. Utilities should be socialized since lots of stuff. I agree with that. Internet, absolutely. So, like I said, the systems need to continue to be hybridized until we create a new ism instead of these extremes running the show. And, to all my tanky, commie, asshole commenters out there, pull your head out of your ass, okay? Start participating in this system and changing it so that we can inject more socialism into this system. Because that is the solution. Because you know what isn't the solution? This kind of shit. Over here in Edmonton, yesterday, I believe, it was yesterday or the day before, in a snowstorm, decided this was the time to clear out these homeless encampments. With that said, I'm sure there legitimately, because this is Canada, there were locations for these people to go to. With that said, timing, right? Here's the problem. These folks out here, they can't use campfires. They can't light fires. So they use electric heaters and gas-powered heaters, and they're in very flimsy, enclosures here with their tents. Things catch fire. It happens all the time. People say, oh, it's because they're cooking up drugs. Because they're cooking up drugs. Sometimes, yeah. A lot of the time, it's just them trying to keep warm. And that is a danger. That is a legitimate danger. With that said, yeah, the moment that 1 foot into my lawn, I'm like, I blow his foot off. I just blow his fucking foot off. And I just stand there proud with my shotgun as the ambulance shows up. He did it. I told him not to. It's his fault. So here we go. Canadian police in Edmonton. They have no, I'm going to teach him respect. Yeah, he's going to remember that day he stepped on my lawn. So, like I said, there is a place for these people to go, but very similar to San Francisco, though. Not as similar, though, because, you know, the restrictions on entry are much lower than in America. Because in America, like, it'll be absurd. You're a junkie on the street. You desperately need help. All the places where you could get help, you know, they say to you, "Oh, well, we can't help you because you're on drugs." Okay. All right. Thanks so much. You can't stay here because you're high. Oh, thanks. I'll just go die. So that's not the case in Canada, right? With that said, though, you know, the promises of shelter usually mean 1 or 2 nights in some, you know, place. And, you know, look, if you got to keep rambling to survive. You know, you can't really stick around and, you know, and they don't really want you sticking around. You know, they're, you know, okay, all right. It's not cold anymore. It's not, you're not going to freeze to death out here anymore, right? So what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not adequate. It's just enough to survive. Yeah, Alice, yeah. There's all kinds of problems with hygiene and theft. It's better in Canada. It's better in Canada. Welcome, Al Rakabi. Welcome back. And welcome all you lurkers and viewers and all the people watching my VOD. For some reason, my VODs are getting, like, I'm getting like 175 views. Who's watching my VODs? What is going on? But thank you to all you people catching the stream after it's done and watching. You guys rock. The VODs only last like a couple days, you know. They're immediately uploaded to YouTube for posterity. But yeah, this poor guy, dude. Yeah, I know, dude. This guy got it bad, bro. Oof. Oh.
Doing your job, eh? Check it out. All you native people, rise! Rise, native people, rise! It's okay. Tell them to rise. Some sacrifices are okay. Tell them to rise.
Fucking crazy.
I mean, bless his heart. You know, bless his heart. I don't know if I would agree with any of his solutions or what exactly the specifics of what he's saying, but clearly he's in duress. Clearly, it's like there should be a better solution. There should be a better solution for this. We do need to look into. I mean, it's getting worse and worse in Canada because the Justin Trudeau neoliberal party has basically embraced a similar ethos as the American neoliberal party. And they've gone full corporatist. The Conservative Party has always been corporatist. So now, you know, and it's pushing them further to the right. And now they're kind of embracing a lot of the, you know, the MAGA talking point stuff, you know, with the social politics. Meanwhile, their policies are, oh, well, the solution is simple. Just privatize everything. What does the government do with people who don't want to stop doing drugs? I mean, Davey, here's the question. Yeah, that's a good, I don't think the perfect and right solution has been found. But I think what is most fair to me, you know, because I lived in San Francisco over 10 years, and you think about it every day. You see it every day. And you just kind of, you know, while you're, you know, daydreaming, you think about, okay, what can be done? Because it's like, how do you, if you've ever had a family member that's been addicted to drugs, you would know it's very difficult to get them to confront it, to do anything. And like, here's the problem, is that you can't kidnap your loved one and force them into medical help. They have to want it. And it's a vicious repeating cycle. I'm going through my own issues with substance abuse, right? It's a vicious repeating cycle. It's hard to get out of it. So here's my solution, real quick. There should be a place that has security, plumbing, running water and electricity and internet. You get a little lot to put your tent down, and your rent is you have to attend once a week, 1 to 2 hours, maybe a 2-hour self-help seminar or job training program, something, right? There'll be an office there. There'll be a building there. Pods, whatever. Sure. Something more, something more structured, something more sustainable, right? Whatever. But have a building there, the central building, right, that provides the food, the medical aid, the mental health aid, and then all the services that they need to, if they want, that's the best that's the best I can come up with, because the current idea is it's not working. They're filling all the little nooks and crannies of all our cities, making it miserable to live in. If you've ever lived in a city with a homeless problem, all the benches, all the public spaces, all the wonderful artwork and everything, you can't go out drinking at night without being harassed by the homeless. You'll be outside a bar, smoking some weed and, having fun and talking. And some guy with severe mental health issues and medical issues, some guy will walk up with bleeding and pus sores oozing out of their face, begging for money. What the hell do you do, man? It's a serious problem. So that's the best I can come up with. If someone's got a better solution, I'd love to hear it in the chat. Last clip from Canada here. Is someone explaining why these encampments are popping up? What's happening? Spoiler alert: it's the economy. Spoiler alert: it's inequality. Major problem in St. Louis and suburban area. It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere because every government that has embraced neoliberalism is also embracing an extreme form of capitalism that is cranking up the exploitation meter, dude. The only thing Jeff Bezos has ever innovated on was bringing third world work standards to the first world. He's a master exploiter. That's the only thing he's done different. It's timing your piss breaks, cycling through as many people as possible, and soon he's going to replace us all with robots. We have no choice. I mean, it's happening. It's going to happen. The question is, how do we give people a new path when all the Joe jobs and stupid crap is being done, automatic? I don't know. I don't have all the goddamn solutions, but I'm trying. As long as the solution makes the lower and middle class stronger and better, right? To me, that's the difference between a good policy and a bad policy. Is it helping people? Spreading those resources out, making things more equal, not by force, equity, right? Merit-based. That's the only way it's fair.
It's Anson Palmer's fourth winter living on Edmonton streets. With temperatures dropping, he and his fiancée are bracing for things to get tough.
Fight last year, so it gets cold for some of us that have already gotten frostbite. So, and it's a hard thing to do. But
UBI is a Band-Aid. UBI is a Band-Aid unless inflation can be put under control, and inflation will never be put under control until the goddamn oligarchy is reined in. So yeah, UBI is a nice little Band-Aid, right? But it's not a permanent solution unless the inflationary crisis is attacked, and that is there's no drive to do that because it's because the system currently works for those who are incredibly rich. I don't know about Mr. You got proof? You got a link, homie? Talking about in simulations? What the fuck you talking about? What, Gary's mod? In simulations? What? Better have a link to a goddamn university doing a legitimate study over here. Oh, we took a poll in Second Life.
Some of us like to be out here better than in shelters or something like that.
The couple has set up camp near Southgate in South Edmonton. We met him while he was checking in on a friend set up on Gateway Boulevard. Most of Edmonton's social agencies and homeless shelters are downtown. So why are many people setting up camp further and further out?
The uncleanliness. The places are filthy.
Bed bugs and cockroaches and people stealing shoes off my feet.
It's quieter. Not a lot of stuff goes missing or anything else like that.
The future.
Yeah. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It is a really nasty world out here amongst these folks out here. It's really nasty.
Of Edmonton's encampments has regularly been making headlines.
It's survival.
People united will never be defeated.
With advocates who say removing makeshift shelters is unconstitutional, challenging the city and police, who say street gangs have infiltrated some of the camps.
Not only the drugs act as a catalyst to the source of the problem, which is inequality, inequity, a failure of capitalism to provide. Because look, not every human is a productive, corporate robot ready to put in 8 hours a day. Some people are just literally incapable of doing that, and we have to ask ourselves as a society, well, are those people useless then? Right? Oh yeah, well she's not being very productive making macaroni necklaces and selling them on the side of the street. Yeah, well, who cares? Does that actually matter? So there's no room for, society. I don't want that money coming out of my paycheck taking care of some stupid hippie doing nothing. Because like that person just has, you try to put them into that 9-to-5 retail environment, whatever, some kind of job. They're incompatible with it. So do we just have incompatible human beings? Or is there a bare minimum? Is there a bare minimum we can provide so that we don't have, walking mental health and medical, third world conditions, walking around some of them our biggest urban areas. How merciful is our society? Does that matter? Oh, if that doesn't matter, then, really? So we have embraced the Ayn Randian ideal, right, of selfishness, the Gordon Gekko, right? Greed is good. If you're not able to produce, then you're worthless. And if you're worthless, then you might as well just kill your, Roblox. I don't want to live in that society. I don't think that's moral. I'm not a religious person. But I don't think that's moral. Right?
Not only do they victimize people within the encampments,
nice haircut.
The crime that's occurring on the street, the drug dealing, is they turn on themselves quite quickly. So they're extremely ruthless, and I can say what they lack in sophistication, they make up for in violence.
A University of Alberta criminologist who's been doing field work with Edmonton's homeless population says some people are avoiding the core because of gang activity.
One person put it really succinctly, said, I'd rather be here and hungry but safe than well-fed downtown, but be potentially attacked.
Urbanic says she's heard.
And that's why my solution is like, no, it's a place, it has security, there's buildings, like it's not gated, or something like that, right? But there's a base level of security and safety, right? That is offered to folks. Because it's a dog-eat-dog world. Look at the goddamn press and police over here. The press all over the place. Where were you guys the day before? Oh yeah, we got to get this on camera. Goddamn vultures.
Heard from local street gang members that there's been a collapse in group leadership. She says the street code, rules that protect the vulnerable people living on the streets, has eroded. But in West Edmonton, people living rough say gang activity isn't the only reason to steer clear of downtown.
The gangs keep their stuff on the DL where it belongs. From a pure business perspective, they don't appear to be at war, but of course they are. And when I'm in a more populous area, what I find to be the biggest danger is just uncleanliness.
Warren says he's been spending a lot of time at this new warming center.
So he said the gangs aren't a problem. He kind of contradicted what her setup there.
On Stony Plain Road. It's open in afternoons and evenings. He heads back outside to sleep, usually alone, somewhere out of sight.
Because that's the one thing I can count on myself being able to do is find a place where the cops won't catch me loitering or dangerous or annoying somebody.
As the homeless population grows, the camps are getting more attention.
Some people are choosing to have their camp a bit more visible, just so that, if there is a fire or if someone is coming and, going through their camp or something, that it's visible and maybe there's people around to help. But it does, of course, also increase the chance that their camp will be reported and they'll have enforcement come out.
The number of people sleeping rough in West Edmonton has also been on the rise.
And truly, I'm hearing about it from people in almost every community I represent, which is something I'd never experienced in my 10 years on council.
Knack says...
Yeah, and here's the problem, man, is that the neoliberals are so smug, about their solutions. Right, it's like, ooh, they'll look at everything but themselves, right? Oh, communication, or maybe we're just not doing this right, or this image isn't correct, and we just need to let people know that we're actually doing everything we can. No, people want to know, what are you going to do differently? How are you innovating? What are you actually looking at? What isn't working and changing that? Neoliberals time and time again fail to do that. As long as the camps are far away from schools, I'm fine with it, man. Well, I mean, unless you live next to one, unless you live next to one and all of a sudden your property value is going down, and it's like you don't want to treat people with disrespect, but it's like, these people are affected, and your packages start going missing on your porch, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens with that kind of stuff. And it's like, people shouldn't have to deal with that. I'm not saying like that my solution should be, 30 miles out of town, but what I'm saying is that my solution would provide enough of the base services where, theft wouldn't be necessary. You wouldn't have to be grifting, because there would be services for you to get what you need. Not drugs, of course. Check car doors every night. Yeah, they're not doing it because they're evil and they like theft and they're slimy, animals. It's because they're desperate. And if we're never going to look at, and this is the problem with neoliberals, is that we're never going to look at that core, where that core desperation is coming from, the sources of that capitalism. Nothing will. It will never get better. Just a bunch of weird Band-Aid solutions on the main problem. Living in bitter cold must be awful. It's got to be. But man, I mean, the conditions, must be really bad. Downtown, if people would rather just rough it, sleep on the cold ground on a tent in some corner of a park. I'm paying approximately $450 more heating. The UK madness. Yeah, the government regulators encouraging increase the prices. Ain't right. It ain't right while some of the largest corporations and richest people on earth are just getting richer and richer and richer. If that wasn't the case, like if everyone was, was suffering, okay, that'd be something, keep calm, carry on, let's all sacrifice. But that's not the case. We're so clearly getting screwed, right? It's so clear we're getting screwed over. Luckily, there is a solution. Don't feel nihilistic. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, join a progressive political organization, a union, sign up to a progressive politician that you like. Put your name down. Step 3, put in the work. Ask yourself what you're doing for the activist movement, a.k.a. become a political activist. Oh, that's hard. Find a better solution for me. No, fuck you. That's the only thing that ever works. Get off your duff, and if you don't want to, if you're too lazy, then accept that you're part of the problem. And stop asking me for the perfect solution that, doesn't require you to get up, It's like you're an obese person that's, the doctor's telling you, yeah, you got to eat right and exercise. Oh, well, isn't there a pill I can take? No, not really. With that said, there's actually a pill you can take now. Where's the activism pill? Where's the political activism pill?
More housing is the only solution.
Yeah,
in the interim, he wants to see the province address concerns about the conditions in shelters.
You could do that within a few short years. And in the meantime, you can make sure that the shelters are operating at better standards so that you're not putting somebody in a position where they feel like, I'm debating between being warm and safe.
CBC News requested a...
Let him finish his thought. He had 2 thoughts. We don't have time for that. What, you 4 minutes and 30 seconds in this package. Let him finish his thought. My God, local media.
They feel like I'm debating between being warm and safe.
CBC News requested a copy of the province's shelter standards. The province did not provide a copy.
Fire the editor.
And instead sent a statement saying shelter standards were updated last year to include more cultural and spiritual supports, increasing the focus on connections to housing, employment, and income supports, and ensuring shelters can provide a trauma-informed space for all clients. For those still choosing to avoid shelters, focus has turned to surviving in the cold. Palmer says he and his fiancée try to scrape by, shoveling snow for donations and picking bottles.
We're not out here creating trouble. We're out here just living just like everybody else. We just, we do things differently. And
so that's very true of a lot. And you know what? I'll take him at face value. I believe him. He's not pulling those packages off porches and being a menace. And a lot of them boost bikes and repair bikes, right? Kind of like a bike chop shop in some cases. That doesn't seem to be the case here. It looks like there's just a couple bikes for transport. So I'll take them at face value. But all you need to do is have that lived-in experience to know that just allowing people to just congregate in random public spaces and build a tent village in some random space is not the solution. But the government solution isn't adequate either, because the government's like, well, you can't put up a tent, you can't sleep rough anywhere, and these are people that are not ready to stop doing that for one reason or another. Drugs, emotion, you got societies like homeless in Japan, where the government will take care of you, right? Like there's very little reason to actually be homeless in Japan. In fact, the real estate is fucking great. Some of those, because all the rural those old rustic rural neighborhoods all emptied out. Everyone's going to the urban areas. So there's actually you can get one of those beautiful wooden Japanese homes in a Japanese countryside for pretty good. For pretty good prices. But you have to live literally in the middle of nowhere on an island, and can you even speak the goddamn language? Weeb.
We're just trying to get by like everybody else.
Yeah.
Paige Parsons, CBC News, Edmonton.
It's complicated, and the neoliberals are not coming to the table with real solutions. And God help us with the conservative solutions, right? Because we all know what they are. We're seeing the result of that in America. You got Greg Abbott over here, removing the federal jurisdiction on the Texas border. So Texas state is gonna take over for enforcement on the border. Greg Abbott shipping out, migrants to Martha's Vineyard. Anything rural in Japan costs about $100K. I had a friend that moved there like that. He's from a family of Japanese migrants. That's awesome. That's awesome, Tisriel. Welcome back, by the way. Yeah, man. Maybe one day. I mean, the thing is, Japanese people are lovely people. First of all, let me just say that. But there is an expectation, xenophobic or whatever you want to call it, but there is an expectation that you know the language. I don't know. I mean, I've heard, because I've heard these horror stories from weebs. You know what I mean? Weebs that go over there and they're like, oh, everyone hated me, because they expected it was going to be like an anime. But maybe Japan isn't so bad on foreigners that don't know the language. You need to work with them to know them. Yeah. He's a freelancer, so he doesn't really care where to live until there's no Wi-Fi. Oh, wow. Interesting. One of those guys. Yeah, I'm too bolted down. I bought a house, had a kid. I'm welded down right now, dude. Ecuador declares state of war against drug gangs. So moving on to our Ecuador portion of the stream right now. So yeah, I mean, there was a big crackdown. Head honcho was arrested, and now that head honcho, and he looks like a real beast, like a legitimate beast, escaped, and he has declared war He escaped prison and declared war on the country. So it's total chaos happening in Ecuador. Let's get an update. Not easy to work with, let's say, them and the Koreans, but tough environment. Expectations are very high. Yeah, no, if I was in Japan, I would open up my own business. I would not want to work for a Japanese person. The work ethic is bananas. Oh yeah, casually. I get up at 5 a.m. I'm at work at 6. Restaurant opens up at 8. I've already, like, you know, done 2 hours of prepping and you know, and all that. No, I'd be running like an ice cream shop, you know, rolling in there at 10 a.m. I'd be doing something real simple and easy, and I'd be working for myself because, yeah, no, I would not want to work for a Japanese guy. No way, dude. He'd fire me first day. He'd fire me first day. Sorry, this is late. This tells you everything you need to know about the conservative leader in Alberta. We'll go ahead and put that in the Discord, Davin, and we'll do a follow-up next stream on Canada. Good for Ecuador declaring war on gangs. Worked well for El Salvador. You really find that to be a sustainable and viable solution? I mean, I guess, you know, when the gang situation is as bad as El Salvador, I guess you do need to get a little authoritarian with it, you know. But Davey, I mean, all the innocent people that was caught up and that are continuing to be caught up in that dragnet, I don't know. The results are undeniable in El Salvador when it comes to Mr. Bitcoin there, like one of the youngest presidents of any country, Mr. Bitcoin there in El Salvador, you know, being full authoritarian. He's like a TikTok president is what they're calling him because he's like a social media guy. Just doesn't seem sustainable, you know. Like when do you turn that off? When does the faucet of authoritarianism get turned off? Once the problem, you know, because has he slowed it down? Has he slowed down the authoritarianism after, you know, cracking down hardcore on the gangs in El Salvador? I don't know. We should do a follow up. But I mean, look, I get it though. These countries are plagued with brutal gang violence. We're talking disgusting human beings, scum of the earth. You know, like what if the mafia from the 1950s never went away and is now running our country? I guess we might get that with Donald Trump. Ah! Okay, I take that back. Never mind. It's getting awkward. Let's get into the story.
A raid in Guayaquil.
Yeah, Davey, I said it. Okay, the results speak for themselves. But he did that with brutal authoritarianism. That's undeniable. You know, scooping people up because you got a tattoo. Look, I get it though, because the tattoo, you know, really means something. But you know, 15-year-old, 13-year-old kids, right, getting thrown into a goddamn meat grinder prison with a bunch of, you know, 30-year-old career criminals. It's got all kinds of problems. It just doesn't feel sustainable. Like, it feels like it's like, okay, look, for the next, you know, X amount of months, full-blown crackdown. But, like, where's the exit? Like I said, when does he turn that authoritarian faucet off? Because if you just continue the authoritarianism after the drug crackdown, well, now we got a new problem, don't we? President should absolutely get immunity, and I did nothing anyway. One must wonder why he needs immunity. Yeah, it's a good point, Tisriel. Oh, do you, John? Oh, I can't wait for this. Oh, boy. Get it going, folks. Here we go. I'm woke. Celebrate! My woke ideology and hedonism will get me to take it straight to hell. Is that what you're going to tell me, John?
Try to regain control of Ecuador's streets. They need to restore order, or at least look like they are.
I mean, these gangs are disgusting. I'm not defending them.
2 days after gang leader Fito José Adolfo Macías, leader of Los Choneros, disappeared from his cell, shops remain closed.
There it is, folks. There it is, folks, right there. Glory to those who look after the needy, the sick, the elderly, the orphaned, the disabled. Glory to all the good humans of the world. Any fool can proclaim glory to a nation. But what is nationalism to the glory of God? Isaiah 7:17. Look at little man. You see that? Look at little man.
Leader of Los Choneros disappeared from his cell. Shops.
Oh, look at little man. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, John. I'm not a religious guy, but you know. Look at little man, though. Adorable. Adorable.
Remain closed, and those who can stay home do. Watching on.
Jesus, it must be so
it's
hot there.
All hands on deck. After President Daniel Noboa declared the country was in a state of internal war, following a spate of seemingly coordinated kidnappings, explosions, and shootings across the country by criminal gangs.
We're practically living.
What do they got? Mimosas? What the fuck? Is this like lemon, water with lemon, and it's just the lighting? It'd be funny. They got cocktails.
In a state of war against terrorism. These are not organized crime groups. These are terrorists who are financed by drugs, people, organs, and arms trafficking.
Look, we can't, you know, free speech and liberty is one thing, but when you're flagrantly breaking the law, you know, sometimes, you know, crackdowns are necessary. You give criminal elements an inch and they'll take a mile, absolutely. But with that said, man, it's such a slippery slope. You know, like the organization, the government or whatever that is handing out this punishment, that is doing this, needs to be fully transparent when it's doing it. That's the problem. You know, it's okay. Where's the accountability? Okay, what's the process when innocent people get caught up in this dragnet? Because that's inevitable. You know, who's being held accountable? How are these people, you know, how is liberty being protected during this crackdown? Oh, well, that's not important. Well, yes, it is. At least he didn't say I'm supported by Kamash. I don't know what that means.
The threat is cross-border. Mexican drug cartels battling for control of regional trafficking routes sponsor warring local gangs. But they have temporarily united.
Hey, look at that. Body cam, yo.
And turned their attention.
Probably not for accountability, though.
To the Ecuadorian government after Noboa declared a crackdown. The whole of Ecuador is under a nighttime curfew.
Look at this. The damn street is sweating. Look at this. It's nighttime. The street is literally sweating. God.
And will stay that way for 2 months. Security forces have orders to shoot first and ask questions later.
There you go, Davey.
The armed forces are on operations to control weapons and explosives. At the same time, we're safeguarding the lives of civilians in the city due to the challenging situation.
Oh, is that
it's
so,
frightening to go
Cosmos?
out, and I'm worried about my family, especially since they work on the outskirts of the city.
Legitimate.
But before the authorities can get control of the streets, they first must get control of the prisons. This is where Fitos was detained and from where he runs his gang operation.
Wow, what a weird collection of weapons here. Look at this. What is Homeboy's got like an M9 or something? Something smaller with like some kind of integrated silencer? Completely different weapon over here. Gear kind of almost looks like US provided. Looks like US made stuff. Not the weapons though. MP5, that's a foul right there. Okay. Yeah, MP5. Okay, that makes sense. Weird, man. They just got a toy chest filled with all kinds of fun stuff. I have no desire to visit any South American country. I want to visit because it's beautiful. You know, it's absolutely gorgeous. And the people there, probably the nicest people, right? The hardworking regular folks, right? Not the criminals, right? But I got to admit, yeah, I'm scared. Look, I'm walking around, Whitey, with a big smile from a different country. I might as well have just a big mug me, rob me sign around my neck. Confiscated weapons, probably. Yeah, that's a good point. Kind of a mishmash. It's so interesting.
This is where Fitos was detained and from where he runs his gang operation.
Yeah, I don't want to be privileged.
In the last few years,
you know,
more than 500
in a
prisoners have died inside these walls. 60 of them during a single massacre in 2021.
But I'm legitimately scared.
Martha's son is inside.
Look at these nice people.
Despite the threat of further violence.
I bet you she can cook it up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I bet she can cook it up, have a good old time, right? Just, nice people, nice folks. It's such a shame. It's such a shame that they're being held hostage, kind of in a, similar situation by a terrorist group. I don't know about terrorism, though. Whatever. Call them whatever you want. Terrorists, drug cartel, whatever.
Violence. She says the government shouldn't hold back.
The government should do everything they can to eliminate the gangs. So many innocent people, elderly, children, have died.
Yeah,
they have no mercy. Why should we show mercy to them? Just let them be killed too.
I'm thinking a place where everything.
I don't necessarily disagree, but like I said, where is the built-in transparency? Where's the built-in checks and balances? Where's the built-in accountability for these massive authoritarian crackdown programs? Okay, because some groups, they're not listening to reason. Okay, you're not going to drop a pamphlet on these guys and change their mind. MS-13 isn't going to come around to logic. Okay, so I get that. I get that dynamic. I'm not a pussy-ass pacifist. I understand the real world. With that said, though, like I said, where's the turnoff? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Is it really our only choice, safety over liberty? Is that it? That's the calculation we have to make? Either we live under a brutal military-style authoritarianism, or we get some semblance of liberty and freedom? That's the choice? Binary? I feel like we as humans could do better.
Started the original prison of Guayaquil. More than 10,000 inmates live inside here. From there, they control drug trafficking, kidnapping, extortion. Prisons in Ecuador have become really the headquarters of criminal organizations. Today, more than 140 people are still kidnapped in prisons around all over the country.
A few hours drive away in the city of Cuenca, 49 guards and 9 kitchen staff are still held hostage inside the Turin prison.
Whoa!
Authorities have lost all control and inmates roam the grounds and the roof.
Whoa!
Ecuador, like many other countries in Latin America,
that,
have seen this before. The army in the streets, promising to restore normality.
They took over the whole
Those
fucking
trying
prison.
to get on with their lives in Guayaquil today only hope it works this time.
Hey, I'm getting a little handsy. So they didn't show. I'm shocked they didn't show the footage. But here's the homeboy.
Ecuador has launched a nationwide operation to locate a drug lord who disappeared from jail.
Makes
the
it a
government
fortress,
has
right,
declared
Cosmo?
a state of
Welcome back,
emergency
Woke
and
Patriot,
imposed
by
a
the way.
curfew while police and the army search for the fugitive.
Makes it into a fortress.
He was sentenced
Perfect
to 34
HQ.
years in prison in 2011 for crimes, including murder and drug trafficking. Authorities said that 4 police officers have been kidnapped since the manhunt's been underway.
Ecuador is on full alert. Its army will be patrolling the streets for at least the next 60 days after the country declared a state of emergency. They're searching for Adolfo Matias, known by his alias Fito. He's not just any escapee. He's the leader of one of the most powerful drug gangs in Ecuador, who vanished overnight from a high-security jail.
Oh, in Peru.
Searchers are continuing to confirm that he has definitely left the prison.
What the hell? Soviet-era weapons.
We noticed that one of the inmates detained in that social rehabilitation centre was missing. The National Police, together with the armed forces, continue the investigation.
Santa's brother.
The military and police.
It's the opposite of Christmas cheer. It's like the more despair he spreads, the more powerful he gets.
Have also been raiding detention facilities throughout the country. They released a video showing detainees at a rehabilitation center stripped down to underwear for a weapons search.
So here's the thing, right? So these are inmates, okay? And what I'm talking about, integrated checks and balances and transparency, right? I, as a citizen who wants safety and security, but also would like liberty, should have the right to know who these men are, what their crimes are, and their families have a right to know who these men are, what were their crimes, what was the evidence for the crimes, what was the trial, what was the record of the trial, right? You know, full justice, okay? Because I want to believe that these are all criminals. But when you have a dragnet authoritarian military police apparatus taking everybody, Davey, you and I can't guarantee that each one of these individuals was an actual criminal. And you're like, well, that's the cost of security. And then I say, no, you're an authoritarian. Because we got to the fucking moon. We got telescopes, you know, showing us mega superstructures in space that we thought weren't possible. But you're telling me we can't keep track of prisoners and their crimes, and if there was evidence at their trial and all that? Oh, it's just impossible to have a system like this with transparency and checks and balances? I would disagree with you. And I put words in your mouth, Davey. I'm sorry. I don't know if you believe that or not. Putting drug bosses in prison is so stupid. Just get rid of them permanently. I think maybe, you know, I don't know. I really do disagree with capital punishment because of the failure of our justice system to provide fair and equitable justice. Right? There's far too many cases of the state handing out death penalty to somebody who doesn't technically deserve it. With that said, you're a John Gotti. You know, you're a leader of MS-13. 100% without question, leader of a drug cartel. I don't know, maybe it should be put up to the people. You know, put it in a referendum. Hey, this scumbag, one of the biggest scumbags in the world, we finally caught him. You know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Maybe let the people decide. I don't know. Because I do agree. It does seem like for special criminals, there should be special punishment. But then you're getting into cruel and unusual and unequal punishment. But I don't know. I do feel like scumbags don't get enough punishment in any justice system. You know what I mean? And execution, that seems too easy. You know? 30 years of prison is far worse than an execution, if you ask me. 30, 40 years, 50 years in jail. That's a lot worse than just getting hung. I don't know. I think it's an interesting question, you know, and I do think liberals and people on the left need to have better answers for some of these things, because because the conservative answer of just, you know, capital punishment is so enticing. There needs to be a left. If the left is going to disagree with it, there does need to be some, I don't know, I don't know about meeting halfway or compromise, but I don't know. There just needs to be some acknowledgement of the grotesque nature of some of these men and their crimes. You know, like Andrew Breivik, right? I mean, look up Andrew Breivik, the I think from Sweden, the murderer, the serial killer. You know, he went to an island where children. It was like some camp where a bunch of kids from political families. It's like a model UN thing or something they were doing on an island. He goes over there dressed as a cop, murders like 50 kids. He's in a resort. You know, we just looked at Canadians living in tents. Andrew Breivik is living a better life than those guys. That doesn't seem right. Right? That just doesn't seem right. But we can't be treating every murderer and rapist like Andrew Breivik, right? If we, you know, put him in a hole filled with ants or something, I don't know. Whatever special punishment, right, for the special sickos of the world. But I kind of agree. I mean, where is the justice, man? Where is the justice? I kind of agree with that. You know. But like I said, I don't want to trade liberty for security over here. It's a tale as old as time, right? How many of these people are actually legitimately innocent, right? Some neighbor pissed off at this kid for kissing his daughter, you know? Oh, he's a member of a gang. gets caught up, scooped up, and all of a sudden now he's turned into a gang member for his own survival. Dying for these people is the worst punishment. They lose everything they worked for. Davey, you haven't lived long enough to understand the pain of getting old, and especially, you know, I couldn't imagine doing that, you know, behind walls, not experiencing anything. When you're dead, you can't feel pain. Yeah, woke patriot.
The measures
100%.
have resulted in widespread unrest and prison riots.
I agree, woke patriot. Yes.
The government has responded with a nationwide curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 in the morning. They're trying to send a stark warning to drug gangs to combat gang-related violence that has exploded in recent years.
Ecuadorians, the time when those convicted of drug trafficking, contract killings, and
I just knew he was the president. I just knew it. Like all these, like they're electing all these young guys, right? That are coming in, like with Davey over here, with their big new ideas, aka blowing off the authoritarian playbook.
Organized crime, dictated to the government in power what to do, is over. What we are seeing in the country's prisons is the result of the decision to confront them. This is why we in the government have taken action to regain control of prisons that have been lost in recent years.
Take a nap, buddy. It's all good. That's okay. Just leave the stream on and go take a nap. It's all crap. This show sucks. Go take a nap. I want to go take a nap now.
Despite the stringent measures, residents of the crime-torn city, Guayaquil, where Fito was in jail, say it's too late to control the situation.
And what do you do?
Well, it's not going to be solved. I believe that the laws themselves would have to be changed. Many things would need to be done, but I think it would help at least reduce crime at night.
Temporarily, sounds
as
like.
Gangs, like the one Fito heads, fight over who will control major cocaine routes, many here fear the prison security crisis will spiral further.
Nap. All right, well, there you go. Fascinating stuff happening in Ecuador. And of course, I have to show this footage right out of Hollywood. These guys, you know, right when, you know, so the Mr. Machine there escapes from prison, declares war. A few hours later, bunch of hooligans take over a news station, like right out of RoboCop. You know what I'm saying? Like right out of like a Verhoeven movie. You know what I mean? Look at this.
Guayaquil is a city on edge in a country that's struggling to confront the
Really?
power
You show
of its drug
5 seconds of it? Okay, come on. Can we get back? I just wanted to show that.
Acabo de firmar
footage.
el decreto de estado de excepción para que las fuerzas
That's
armadas
it? That's
tengan
all
todo
you're going to
el
show?
respaldo.
Wow, you suck. Dude, Telegraph sucks. I want to show you this. News station taken over. Now, you got to see all the footage because they took it over and they hung around for like, you know, several
unfolding crisis in Ecuador where the president has declared a
several
state of
hours, I
emergency,
believe,
authorizing the military to step in. The situation playing out live on the air as masked gunmen stormed
and then there was gunshots and, you know, the police came in. Cameras rolling the whole time.
Annabelle Munoz live now in our newsroom with this breaking story. Annabelle.
Mark and Giovanna, an already
Respectful.
unstable
I'm being
situation
respectful.
in Ecuador has escalated further in just the last 24 hours. The country's president
Be
has now
respectful.
declared an
I'm respectfully
internal armed conflict
enjoying
targeting
her
nearly
news.
24 gangs the government is describing as terrorist organizations. This follows the escape of now 2 gang leaders and dozens of others of men from prisons. It's an unusual scene and a terrifying one for those who lived it. In the middle of a live news broadcast in Guayaquil, Ecuador, several masked and armed men take over a TV station. Noises that sounded like gunshots could be heard in the background. One man is kicked in the face during the live feed, which continued for at least 15 minutes before the signal was cut off. Police snipers were positioned outside of the TV station.
It played the whole time.
Inside, another man has several guns pointed at him as people shout for police to leave.
Dude, he had his finger on the trigger, holding it one-handed, dude. Ooh, oof.
Inside, another man has several guns pointed at him as people shout for police to leave. Ecuadorian authorities tell ABC News the situation is now under control and that 13 people were arrested.
Wow.
Acabo de firmar el decreto de estado de excepción para.
And there wasn't like a big ass shootout, right? Whoa.
Comes one day after Ecuador's president Daniel Noboa declared
so we've already gone over all that. But let's take a quick look at Davy's link here. Just to get some of that raw footage. Sorry, I should have had this better queued up. My bad. Thank you, Davy. But wow. So this could have easily, dude has the finger on the trigger, dude. Could have easily gone a different way. Okay. Wow, what clowns. That shit isn't even real, dude. Wow. Look, you want your society ran by guys like this? You know? You gotta crack down. But how do you crack down? How do you preserve liberty while cracking down? And yes, preserving liberty is important, Davey. But yeah, no, you can't. These people, you let them. If you let them, they'll run the streets. If you let them, they will run the streets and your lives. Here's after they were arrested. Oh, this is great, bastards. It's juicy footage. Unbelievable. You know. You dumbasses. Where's your little cartoon candy cigarette looking dynamite sticks now? Those didn't come in handy, I guess. What was the plan, guys? Just do it, Nike t-shirt. Yeah, there was like Calvin Klein or Ralph, I think it was Ralph Lauren or something. There was a different, these guys out here. It's all like surplus, knockoff, knockoff from China. Surplus warehouse crap, dropped off, that kind of stuff. All right, there you go. That's the Ecuador update. There's really some shocking stuff coming out of Ecuador. We had the debate, security versus liberty. That's kind of the theme of that segment. And like I said, something has to be done about these people. Call them terrorists, drug cartel members, whatever you want. Something does substantively need to be done. A food program, a homeless care program, a anti-drug program is not going to fix the problem with these guys. You do need enforcement, but how do you do that with checks and balances and transparency while also preserving liberty? How do you do that? Because, the system should say, once the murder rate goes down, the authoritarianism should also go down. Thank you, Woke Patriot. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. And thanks again for all your contributions to the Discord. Absolutely. Thank you, Woke Patriot. True OG. True OG to the chat. Thank you. All right. Moving on to our U.S. news. Our goddamn U.S. news. You ready for this shit? It's all good news out of the U.S. Doesn't go down as seen by the NSA. Yep. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not impressed with our military-industrial complex. I'm not impressed with our intelligence agencies of, 17 of them? How many we got now? U.S. news is so boring? Yeah, no, the complete destruction of our democracy and the rise of American fascism taking full reign of the most powerful military on planet Earth. Kind of a snooze fest. Hey, you're right. Fucking snooze fest. Listen to this 3DMG underground stream beat. Vibe to this shit for a second. That is some good shit. Fuck me running, that is good. All right, folks, U.S. news. Grab your hot dogs and your apple pie. We're doing it. And there was actually so much mass shooting news, it's actually going to be its own separate segment. But don't worry, we have some eye bleach at the end of our mass shooting news, because it's always so depressing after talking about all these people getting shot. These innocent people getting shot by mediocre men, you know? Mediocre men who don't know how to handle their emotions, and they get all mad at society for all of their problems. They murder their family and murder a bunch of friends, then themselves, because they're cowards. Trumpers are such a tired subject. Yeah, wait until 2025 when they're running your life. Some of the men who shoot had it nice compared to a lot of people. That's true, and that's true. You know, they're living in the lap of luxury, right? They've done real damage. They do real damage. You know, talk to those poor family from that asshole who shot up the grocery store. You know, the July 4th massacre. Cremo the Third asshole. Weirdest name. The guy looks exactly like he sounds too. Total creepazoid. All right, let's get a little Trump update. I got to talk about this. I mean, Trump basically did. He thought he was going to have a West Wing moment. Judge initially said, "No, we're not going to do that." But then the judge was like, "All right, fuck it, whatever. Make a fool of yourself." That's exactly what he did. So we won't belabor this because Davey is correct. It's tiring, but it's very important. This man could run your life into the ground.
The prosecution due to present its closing arguments in Donald Trump's civil fraud trial after a dramatic scene in which the former president...
Yeah. Is that too loud? Okay, that's too loud for me. Holy shit. Holy shit. Boy, that artist not doing him any favors, man. If Trump gets immunity, it will apply to future presidents too. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully, once Trump gets immunity, he'll just implement full-blown, he'll just be a dictator for life, and he'll never die once he's given the power of the American people. It's so funny you say that, suspect blaming. Welcome, by the way, because I have this tweet queued up from the Peter fella. Used to be on Twitter, now he's over at Blue Sky, getting the hell off Twitter. It's so funny though, because he's so good. He makes such good points sometimes. And listen to this: funniest outcome of the Trump immunity case is if the court finds that the president has complete immunity, and then Biden immediately kills Trump. Biden just walks out of the. Like Trump's coming down the steps to talk to the press, right? Biden just gets out of the limo with a Tommy gun. Ah! Whoa! Is that a raid? Holy shit! Got raided, folks. Welcome to the News Underground, the #1 positive news stream on the internet. Nothing but 24/7 positive news, good vibes. While we have fun. No, welcome to the News Underground. We actually do real news here. I don't know if someone's trying to troll you. You were just in a gaming stream, and now you're in a heavily political stream. You don't know what you're doing here. I'm a spokesperson for the horseradish. Give us your money. Like and subscribe, folks. Thank you for the follow. Check out the horseradish. Of course, unless they're a right-wing conservative, then they can suck my dick. But who knows? Maybe they're just a condiment fan, and that's the whole thing. They eat rare horseradishes. Ooh, this one's spicy. Ooh, this one's disgusting. Horseradish is disgusting. Sorry, I'm not a fan. Keep that shit on the side, okay? I don't need stanky pickle shit on my food. Strangely, I do like pickles, though. Earned a follow for that comment alone. Well, thank you, Boba Fettuccine. Thank you, The Horseradish. No offense. No offense. Okay, I'm wide awake again. Sorry, Lenny. I'm sorry, Lenny. We're getting back to the boring stuff. None taken. You seem like a cool guy there. Make sure you like and subscribe, folks. But let's not get too bogged down. Thank you again for that raid, The Horseradish. But let's go ahead and get back to our news. I just can't stop looking at this picture, dude. If immunity is in play, he could open hotels with the Grand Canyon with strip malls and fast food chains. Go nuts. Go nuts, man. Right? I mean, the problem with Trump, here's what would really happen is that, say Trump gets in 2025, right? Project 2025 kicks off. You know, the president allows all the corruption to happen. He's like a bull in a china shop. He wrecks our democracy, removes all the checks and balances, kind of does what that Vivek Ramaswamy wants to do, right? And he dumps out the deep state, empties out all the federal, all the branches of the federal government, all the different, offices and skeleton crew. And, it's run by fiat now. You got the U.S. Post Office run by a Trump sycophant. So that all happens in like the first 1 to 2 years. Then he croaks, right? And he bites the dust. And it's and one of these mediocre Ted Cruz, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, one of these guys who's successfully barnacled themselves to Trump long enough to benefit, then that person's in charge, and then we're dealing with a real serious issue, which is now we have an authoritarian right-wing fascist with all the power that Trump just created for the executive, but who's actually competent, who's not so self-obsessed, who's not so obsessed with his interview on CNN that he can't implement his own agenda. Because Ron DeSantis has a real agenda. Vivek Ramaswamy has a real agenda. Trump's agenda is Trump. And that's actually a benefit, because his severe incompetence and nepotism is a benefit, but also a massive negative. He could have accomplished a lot more in that 4 years, for his own power and for his own party control in there. But he was so self-absorbed, he just simply couldn't break beyond that, right? Yeah, by the way, the people that just came here are probably all leaving now. They're like, oh, this is boring. What is this? It's a real news stream. Sorry, guys. I know I lots of funny noises and everything, but we actually do cover information. Sorry. I feel bad. I don't watch the view count, but I'm pretty sure people are leaving.
The president himself addressed the court. The judge had only allowed Trump to speak on the condition that he focus on the facts.
Cosmo, you're dead wrong.
The president quickly veered into other territory.
Cosmo, you're so dead wrong, it's ridiculous. George Bush built the foundation that Trump stands upon. George Bush and Dick Cheney, helped spread termites across democracy that weakened it. And now Trump is easily snapping them like brittle sticks. Bush was a cancer on our country and a war criminal. Without question. Dick Cheney needs to be in jail today. Thank you for that follow. Wise Beyond. Ooh, good name.
Claiming he is an innocent man being persecuted, and the judge telling defense counsel, please control your client.
He doesn't even have a point shop.
To be clear, the former president has already been found liable of inflating the value of his properties to get favorable loan deals. And it's just the penalty that's left for the judge to decide, with Attorney General Letitia James seeking a $370 million judgment. NBC News has learned the judge will attempt to issue his ruling by the end of this month. MSNBC national correspondent Yasmin Vasugian is reporting for us outside the courtroom in New York. Vaughn Hilliard is in Urbandale, Iowa.
We're not going to get into this.
Renato Mariotti,
I just want her to quote
prosecutor.
Trump. Is she going to quote Trump?
Part of a fraudulent scheme.
Yeah, okay. So she does quote Trump. Okay, hold on. We're not going to get into the 4-person Brady Bunch panel here that they have. I don't know who these jokers are, but no, I want you to listen to what Trump actually said in court. Like he thought he was going to have a Gordon Gekko moment, West Wing moment, swing. Everyone's going to be like, oh, wow, what a compelling argument. I guess he is innocent. It's Final Fantasy 2, I believe, because it's the red. There's a red mage. I think it's Final Fantasy 2. I don't think there was a red mage in Final Fantasy 1. We got black mage, fighter, white mage. Or maybe the red mage was in Final Fantasy 1. Maybe these are all Final Fantasy 1 characters. Anyway, let's hear what Trump had to say.
Prosecution, when they start their closing arguments, somebody might argue that, at least in terms of drama, Donald Trump's a tough act to follow.
Yeah, I think that person would likely win that argument. Nonetheless, I think Letitia James has got a lot in store. She's going to have 2 hours of prosecution. She is not actually likely to offer those closing arguments to other attorneys. In the Attorney General's office, we'll be offering those closing arguments. Let me walk you through, Chris, if I can, some of the written statements that were provided by the Attorney General's office ahead of these closing arguments today to give us kind of some indication as to the direction that they're going to be heading in. I'm saying, quote unquote, virtually every action they took in preparing these statements of financial condition, I should say, was part of a fraudulent scheme. They claim that Eric and Don Jr. are unable to carry on with this organization and should have a court-appointed monitor. They go on to talk about the old post office building in Washington, D.C., saying they used fraudulent documents to win the bid to renovate and operate a hotel there, profiting, by the way. And this is part of the reason why they increased the fines that they're asking for from
we're not guilty. We're not guilty. We have documented evidence of their fraud. Documented evidence.
$50 million to $370 million, profiting
fake news,
$140 million. They concluded in this statement, Chris, by saying this. The conclusion that defendants intended to defraud when preparing and certifying Trump's statements of financial condition is inescapable. The myriad deceptive schemes they employed to inflate asset values and conceal facts were so outrageous they belie innocent explanation. That is just a portion, Chris.
Well, no state has actually removed Trump from the ballot. There's only been considerations and attempts that have failed. What's going to happen if Trump wins? The final nail in the coffin for democracy. We will have our dictatorship in America. He will immediately start stripping, the fundamental columns of democracy that are holding him back. Immediately. Dictator for a day? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, okay.
What we are likely to hear over the next 2 hours when it comes to the prosecution.
Okay, I'm bored to tears. I thought they were going to play the Trump stuff. Sorry, my bad. I'll have it next time, maybe. He had a little West Wing moment. Oh, it was the deep state. You're all against me. You're so biased. It's unfair. Usual crap, right? But it was like a 5-minute campaign stump speech. The judge just cut him off and told the lawyer, control your client. And then he stormed out and went to the microphone podium outside. So that's what happened. And yeah, once again, this is hilarious. I love this. Funniest outcome would be Joe Biden. Joe Biden just assassinates Trump. That would be really funny. He got full immunity. It wouldn't make the loss of our democracy worth it, but it would be funny. All right, moving on to our next article here. Sorry about the Jacobin article, but it was from Woke Patriot, and it doesn't make the information in this article any less true. Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court, extremely corrupt and biased conservative Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is committing tax fraud. Once again, documented evidence. We haven't had legitimate trials yet. Good luck with that, because we'd have to do a real impeachment, I guess. Neoliberals are cowards. They would never do it. But, more and more documented evidence to Clarence Thomas's corruption. When the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas flouted longstanding ethics laws by refusing to disclose billionaire gifts, he avoided public outrage for years. You can thank MSNBC for that. Based on new revelation, and ABC, all the other so-called left-wing mainstream media outlets. Democracy Now! Was covering this, I can tell you that. Based on new revelations about the potential motivations behind those gifts, he also may have avoided laws requiring Americans to pay taxes on such donations, legal experts say. And we're not talking about, oh, he gave me a bike. No, we're talking about houses and vacations and, tens of thousands of dollars, in just one go. Extreme corruption. And Clarence Thomas is trying to make, we're the family friends and we just go on vacation together and he just buys me gifts. And it just so happens that my best friend in the world is, an extreme right-wing political activist who, recent reporting from ProPublica revealed that Thomas was showered with luxury gifts from wealthy benefactors, including vacations, private flights, school tuition, and even a loan for a high-end RV. Those ain't cheap. Those ones with the really nice shitters, those RVs with the really nice bathrooms there, those ain't cheap. Though Thomas has insisted the gifts were just innocent generosity of friends. He's just a friendly guy. Many came after he threatened to resign over the justice's low salary. Isn't that funny? So he started bitch. Oh, I'm not getting paid enough. I'm not getting paid enough. All this corruption I'm doing for you. You're not helping me out enough. And then here come the rich guys with the thick, big fat pockets. Oh, okay. No problem. Look, if you don't know who this guy is, what the Supreme Court is, or the importance of it, look it up. This guy is one of the most corrupt individuals in American politics today. George Santos ain't got nothing on this guy. Clarence Thomas has done more damage to American justice system, American democracy than few have achieved. I'm not being hyperbolic. Look him up. Look at his voting record. He ain't helping you out. Say that. If you're watching this Twitch stream, you're probably a poor son of a bitch just like me. He ain't helping you out. If you're rich and watching this, got a merch store. Not you, Lenny. Lenny doesn't count. Lenny has paid his dues. Anyway, I don't have time to read this whole article. I'm sure you don't want me to read it all. Long story short, incredibly corrupt. Will he be held accountable? Probably not. Neoliberals are cowards. Neoliberals will defend this corrupt status quo over almost anything, it seems. I swear to God, in 2024, if I hear a neoliberal talking about reaching across the aisle, I'm going to reach into my chest and pull my heart out live on stream. I'm just going to rip that fucker right out and drop dead. That's what I'm going to do. I promise you. Promise you. Clip it. Guarantee. I'll do it. The ridiculousness didn't stop there. Of course, the Republicans were desperately trying to get Hunter Biden, the son of Joe Biden, wrapped up in some ridiculous fraud, something or other, sold something, a couple tens of thousands, you think, oh, wow, big money, right? Big chunks of money. Well, Elements, the fact that you're asking me that says a lot. I won't waste my time with you, but I will say I support the innocent Palestinian civilians. I do not support Hamas. I do not support the extremist right-wing Israeli government, Bibi Netanyahu and Ben Gvir. I do not support occupation. I do not support green eggs and ham. I do not support apartheid. The West Bank should be restored to its original size, 1967 borders, two-state solution. Does that answer your question? I don't think Israel has the right to steamroll the entirety of Palestine and take it over. And I know.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Makes me an anti-Semite for saying that Palestinians are human beings. I get it. I know. I don't fucking care. Fuck off, if that's your belief. All right. So, like I said, Republicans making a fool of themselves, but this is all about their base. Some desperate attempt so the real goal Yeah, that's fine, Cosmos. I can deal with them. I'm not worried about it. The real reason why they're doing this is so that they can run campaign ads so that they can say embezzlement, impeachment, arrested, arraignment, and the word Biden in those political ads. That is literally the entire purpose of this. Back to the amounts. What I was thinking I was talking about amounts before I interrupted myself here. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like $30,000. It was a repayment of a loan. It was before he was running for office, I believe. Joe Biden, they have yet to find a shred of evidence that technically that Joe Biden committed any crime. You know, Hunter Biden stuff, shady, yeah. But they have not been able to find any solid link, and they know that there isn't a solid link. They know this. This is theater. So Hunter Biden, amazingly, troll, I don't know what he was trying to do here, but he shows up. So they fully expected Hunter Biden to stay home. They had pre-planned scripts, right, of their diatribes. But he shows up, and these ridiculous Republicans just... Because they were basing all their arguments off of, okay, he's not showing up, he's a coward, he's a coward, he's a coward. So he shows up and then exposes them for who they are, because this is just performative histrionics. This is not legitimate politics. They're not interested in finding justice. They're not interested in finding a solution. They're just interested in dragging it out and doing big bloviating speeches like the one I'm doing now. Let's watch.
Chair recognizes Ms. Mays from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Comer. First of all, my first question is, who bribed Hunter Biden?
See, there it is, and there it is. There it is. So what's your solution? I know. Everyone who says it is a buffoon. Two-state solution isn't anti-Semitic. Everyone who says it's a buffoon. Okay. So elements. So are you for the total annihilation of the Palestinian state? Do you want the Palestinians to live inside Israel after that? Or are you pro kick out all the Palestinians into the Sinai Peninsula so that you can live in peace and harmony away from the dirty, smelly brown Arabs? Which one is your proposed solution there, buddy? Which brutality would you like to purport on millions of people? Which one? You're not one of those kill 'em all types, are you? Ben Gvir types.
To be here today. That's my first question. Second question, you are the epitome of white privilege, coming into the Oversight Committee, spitting in our face, ignoring...
It's the epitome of white privilege, isn't it? It's really funny. Conservatives are desperately trying to co-opt the language of social justice and weaponize it against the left. I find it fascinating. It's the epitome of white privilege to show up to the hearing you were ordered to show up to. They ordered him. He doesn't have to follow it. He'll have to, face the consequences of that. But he was ordered to show up. But it is somehow the epitome of white privilege to show up.
A congressional subpoena to be deposed. What are you afraid of? You have no...
So, Elements, I noticed that you're a coward, and you avoided my question about your choice of brutality on what you want to do to an entire population of people, and instead gave me some, bullshit about because Hamas, basically. Yeah, I know Hamas. Hamas bad. I don't think the response to October 7th should be daily October 7ths. The Palestinians are experiencing, in terms of death toll, an October 7th almost every single day. Somehow I don't think that's morally correct, but I'm sure you would disagree. Your book, they don't really belong there. It's really our land anyway. It's all justified. We get to do what we want. Yeah. You're boring. And you know what? The international community and the world is getting sick of the extreme Israeli brutality. And really what you're doing is you're kind of flushing your influence over the West down the drain with your brutality, right? Every murdered child is one more notch in Israel's credibility. And there are tipping points. Oh, I know, Elements. You don't want innocent civilians to be killed, but it's the only way. You know, we gotta empty out northern Gaza and, probably never give it back to the Palestinians. Got no choice. All right, so anyway, Hunter Biden showed up, yada, yada. They flipped out.
Here and
Mr. Chairman, point of inquiry.
Mr. Chairman,
If
The ladies recognize.
if the gentle lady wants to hear from Hunter Biden, we can hear from him right now, Mr. Chairman.
So Mr. Kick over here, he's not for either side, but from the river to the sea, he literally says that to hand wave away all the grievances of the Palestinian people since the 1940s. But he hasn't picked a side, guys. But some Palestinians say from the river to the sea sometimes, so it's complicated. No, can we play Valorant instead? Yeah, Elements. Look, I'm going to ignore comments about Gaza till we get to our Palestine section. So enjoy making your stupid comments and leaving before we actually get to that topic. Bye-bye.
Let's take a vote and hear from Hunter Biden. What are you afraid of?
Hold on. Order.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no?
And once again, she's weaponizing social justice, right? Are women allowed to say liberals? Liberals are so anti-feminist.
Are women allowed to speak in here or no? Because you keep interrupting me.
I'll interrupt.
Yeah, Kat, it's the rockets. It's the rocket. That's the only reason. Israel would be so down for a two-state solution if Hamas wasn't shooting rockets. Good point. You're so informed.
Chairman, I don't know that he's a lady.
I think that
yeah,
that Hunter Biden should be arrested right here, right now, and go straight to jail. Our nation.
Do it. Go for it. Okay. Shit talker.
Is founded on the rule of law.
Come on. Arrest his ass and get the shit over with. Fine.
Everyone, no matter what your last
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Point of order.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Biggs over here.
Donald Trump Jr.
Biggs over here.
State your point, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah, my point of order is this. Are we going to continue on with this blatant interruption? This is
so. This guy's another right-wing partisan, and look at the chair just nodding. Yeah, you're right. This is. He's turning our circus against us. Yeah, you're for rationality, right? That's why you hand wave away an entire population with some pithy slogan. Oh, they say they're from the river to the sea and they fire rockets, so it's complicated. Yeah, Elements, you're being so reasonable. It's a very reasonable thing to literally remove an entire population from a region and dump them into a neighboring country that doesn't want them there. Totally reasonable, guys. I mean, Hamas, from the river to the sea, it's just a little ethnic cleansing. Come on. It's justified.
Continue on with this blatant interruption. This is absurd and inappropriate.
He showed up to the meeting. His party demanded Hunter Biden be there.
Intend to give my statement. I don't intend to have anybody in.
Sure, you're not in control, but you sure do support it. You got its back. You sure do. You're such a cowardly person, Elements. You're all like, I didn't say that, but then you don't answer the question. I asked you a very simple question. What is your flavor of brutality in removing all the Palestinians from their country? Because that's what you agree to. And you still have yet to answer that question because you're a coward. Oh, but I'm an anti-Semite.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Oh, how dare you? How dare I? We literally did a deep dive on this subject yesterday. The facts are on the table. Israel is guilty of genocide by its definition and is committing currently an ethnic cleansing campaign in the Gaza Strip. My book, it's justified. Anyway, back to the subject. We'll get back to you.
I'm not going to interrupt your statements. I think you should have decorum and courtesy and don't act like a bunch of Nimrods.
You just interrupted a woman.
And that's five.
Thank you so much.
There's
the left weaponizing weaponizing social justice language themselves. Oh, you just interrupted a woman. Got him.
Permission.
Can we agree? Everyone has
Mr.
5
Chairman,
minutes. Can we agree?
Point of order again. The assertion that I interrupted was absolutely false. That's typical of the gentleman who spoke it. I got permission to speak from the chairman. I spoke. I was interrupted yet again by the gentleman who doesn't choose to go through the chair and follow proper order. I encourage us. I think if we're going to have any respect at all. we need to have proper decorum.
Well, well said. Well said.
I'd like to finish.
The rules are everyone's going to be recognized for 5 minutes. Anyone that wants to be recognized will be recognized for 5 minutes. Ms. Mace has 4 minutes and 13 seconds left. Chair recognizes Ms. Mace.
It does not matter who you are, where you come from.
Okay, thank you so much. Would you believe that she said nothing of substance and just made a total fool of herself and that we don't have to listen to her? Do I really have to be fair and listen to this woman bloviate and do performative histrionics for 4 minutes to prove that I am pro free speech? Can we skip this one, please? Can we please skip this one? All right. Thank you. I didn't hear it. You sexist pig. All right. I'm sorry. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to listen to Karen talk about how Hunter Biden's dick is ruining America. So, picture's worth 1,000 words here. This is in the U.S. section. I don't know what country this is in. If we continue to let corporations exploit us, this is America's future. Burnt balls at a congressional hearing. You don't have the balls. If we allow corporations to continue exploiting the poor and middle class, this is everybody's future. Remember at Davos a couple years ago, they said, we will all be renters and be happy. The idea is that regular Joes will no longer own anything. Everything will be leased to us our entire lives. Revenue streams and subscriptions will be constant for the oligarchy, and in a way continue keeping us, it's a kind of a modern serfdom, giving you just enough to survive and be distracted in your off hours, what little you have. Obviously, this woman doesn't have a lot. Can't even afford childcare, and her state probably doesn't provide it either. I don't know where this is from. But it's a warning. It's a warning. Picture's worth 1,000 words here, and those words all have to do with corporatism and exploitation. God, it sickens me. It sickens me to see it. She's such a hard-working person. She deserves a break. You know, this kid deserves a break. God, it's disgusting. We have to do better as a society. So I don't know if I'm going to play this whole thing, but TikTok political activists, I wanted to give a shout out to these folks, these young folks over here on Ticking and Talking, and they're making socially conscious videos. I love them. This person here is talking about the recent story about a prison in America. Can't quite remember what state. Mississippi, looks like maybe. But there's a prison that just had had a backyard somewhere that was kind of used as an impromptu cemetery, and they're exhuming some of these bodies, and turns out, go figure, whoopsies, cops have been dumping bodies back there. Family members are inquiring, where'd Steve go? He's just gone, just disappeared. Where the hell did he go? Well, might have ended up back here, pissed off the wrong cop. So just some interesting citizen journalism. Thought I would show it. TikTok, young folks over here.
So I've been going down this rabbit hole recently about these 215
dead
bodies
off.
that were found in unmarked graves behind a jail.
Please do me a favor and fuck off.
It's honestly insane how little media attention this is getting. And the worst part of it, in my opinion, is just the way that all of the media coverage surrounding this issue has been giving every benefit of every doubt to the police involved.
Yeah. Of course. And that's just how the modern mainstream media covers cops in America. Every benefit of the doubt. Even when cops are blatantly lying. It's like, oh, well, maybe he was on Ambien, just whatever excuse.
One of the people who was found in that graveyard, Dexter Wade, was a man who was literally killed on the street by an officer.
I stand by what I said, Sammy. I don't like you. You can leave. You're not welcome here. Goodbye.
Duty police officer. His body was
I'm happy to do it by force.
And buried in an unmarked grave behind this prison without
busted. He stole the sign. Busted.
Contacting his family. The family.
Yes, let me just back this up a bit.
His body was wrapped in a tarp and buried in an unmarked grave behind this prison without contacting his family. The family had no idea what happened to him or where he was for months and months. They thought he had gone missing. And his family was in constant contact with the police, trying to find him, trying to find out any information about him.
Can't help you.
And
Can't help
they
you.
claimed
Cops,
that they
cops
had
and
no
detectives
identification
are
for
garbage.
him until they found him, and they literally found his wallet with his ID in his pocket.
So and I see this so much, detectives for one reason or another, cops for one reason or another, failing to do their job. The citizen has to come in, do their own investigation out of their own pocket. So they find his body, they exhume him, and there's his ID right in his pocket.
Even just the very surface level analysis that news is giving to this issue
is in America.
Giving so much leeway to the cops. It's insane. Because if you think about what actually happened, what happened is an off-duty police officer killed a man with his car on the freeway, wrapped his body in a tarp, and buried it in an unmarked grave like a fucking serial killer. Worse than a serial killer, because at least Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't make you pay a $250 fine to have your relative's body exhumed from an unmarked grave behind a jail. And everybody just describes this as an issue of incompetence. No, this is.
So there must have been some record that he was dumped there, but there was just no accountability. So is there a record that he was dumped there, but no record of the cop who put him there?
Issue of police accountability. This police officer killed somebody, and then all of his buddies in the police department helped cover it up in the exact same way as any other group doing organized crime.
Organized crime does it better. Mafia wouldn't leave a body in the dirt. Oh, that's a great idea. Nice little time capsule for our crimes. There's no statute of limitations on murder. Mafia wouldn't leave them in the dirt with a record. They're not even good at crime. Because they think they're legally immune to accountability. Oh, you're hindering our job. We're heroes, and how dare you get in our way, our dangerous job, which it is dangerous. But you don't deserve immunity to accountability and checks and balances. Outrageous.
My heart goes out to all of the families who have been affected by this, and all of the families whose family members are still underground in these graves, who just thought that they had gone missing. The hundreds and hundreds of people whose family members had gone missing were probably killed by police and then buried in order to cover up the evidence. Honestly, the whole thing has been very shocking to me, but unfortunately not super surprising, because when we analyze the way that police operate in other ways, it's exactly like this all of the time. It reminds me so much of that recording that got out of those two cops talking in Seattle about a woman who they had killed with one of their cars in an accident, calling her low value and saying that it didn't matter. That's the mindset that these people who are meant to protect and serve us.
The warrior cop mentality encourages a, us versus them kind of configuration in your brain. And that means if it's us versus them, that means for you to handle your day-to-day, you need to dehumanize the other. So cops are acting as if they are soldiers on a frontline battle. And to keep themselves together, to keep their sanity, they have to engage in dehumanizing of the citizens that they're supposed to be protecting. Protect and serve on the car. I mean, sometimes they're just removing the protect and serve off the vehicle because they don't want the legal hassle of trying to say, yeah, we're not actually obliged to protect and serve you. That's just some shit we say. By the way, because of asset forfeiture, we're going to take the money out of your wallet and you're going to have to go through a massive procedure to get it back. But we're not thieves.
Really have towards the normal people who live in their city. They think of themselves as being gods, above impunity and above accountability. And to a much higher degree in comparison to any other group doing organized crime. They believe that they're more important. They actually are above that accountability because they are the organized crime group which we trust with figuring out who did what crime. the way that everybody's covering this is like, oh, what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi? Jackson, Mississippi is so crazy.
It's not just
Jackson. I really
Jackson.
think that if we start digging, we're going to find out that this is happening in lots of other places. Because why wouldn't it? The only thing that could actually stop police from doing things like this is a level of willingness to take each other accountable and care about the humanity of the people who they're meant to be protecting and serving, which we know that they do not have.
Okay. You want a real solution, not some wishy-washy nonsense? Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, join a progressive political organization in your area. Maybe it's a progressive political organization that would like to see reform of police. Step 3, put in the work and ask yourself what you're doing for that movement once a month. That's a real solution. Take your feelings and put them in the fucking trash. It doesn't matter what you feel. What matters is what you get done, the actions. I mean, your feelings do matter. I'm sorry. Just on a roll there. My bad. Don't cry. I'm sorry. Come back. I'm sorry. Your feelings matter. I'm sorry. But suck it up, Buttercup. Put in the work. Let me tell you something. The right wing's putting in the work. Your average beer guzzling MAGA freakazoid is putting in more activism than your average hammer and sickle latte sipping lefty. That MAGA guy is donating, right? That MAGA guy is following specific people that are getting it done, right? That MAGA guy is holding his politicians accountable to do his bidding. Oh, you're a rhino. You're not for my agenda. Get the hell out of here. Not coddling decades-old crusty politicians that have failed us for years. Oh, well, it's, you know, it's kind of a dynasty like the Kennedys, and it's a Democratic dynasty, and they got to stick around, and we can't just let the Pelosi's go, etc. Hakeem Jeffries, all of them. You know what I'm saying? The left doesn't hold these people accountable. Oh, well, we can't challenge them, you know, democratically, or else the Republican might win. All that cowardice. The Republicans don't do that. They're talking about Mike Johnson. Get your ass out of here, Mike Johnson, because you dared to work with the Democrats to keep America afloat, to pay the bills so our dollar doesn't collapse. Oh, it's so communist to not wreck the dollar. You got to get out of here, Mike Johnson. Mega theocratic extremist Mike Johnson. Yeah, you got to go. You're not conservative enough for me. So yeah, fuck your feelings, right? Your feelings are on Twitter. We get it. Your feelings are on social media. Where are your feet? Where's your body? Where are your boots? Are they on the ground? Like, oh, I don't have time. I got a family. Oh, you better be donating. You better be finding something you believe in and putting your resources in that. MAGA guys are donating. Look at Trump, dude. Every time he throws out one of those goddamn emails, he gets tons of dough. The left, that doesn't happen on the left. You know, we get enamored with somebody for a couple weeks and we, you know, fill their coffers and then, oh, we're done playing with that toy. You see why you're such a piece of shit, Zammy? First of all, one, you think you're clever. Two, you think you got me tied to a wall, putting words in my mouth. I didn't say anything about religious people shouldn't do political activism. I'm on the left, though. I believe in the separation of church and state. So do you see why you're such a piece of shit? And of course you do. You think this is some game you're playing. You think you're clever. Do I really just have to ban you? Right? It's some kind of weird job, right? You've kind of taken it upon yourself to inject your conservative ideology into my chat, right? Because it's a lefty stream. You're not getting paid for it. It's just your ideological zeal driving you. But that's what you want to do, right? You want to sit in my chat and give me your little right-wing talking point to every single thing that I say, right? Why would I keep you here? Why would I welcome that? I'd kick you out of my house immediately. Why would I do anything different on my stream? Choking on a vitamin tablet. Interesting name. Trump is going to win. Am I mad? Yeah, I'm mad. It's the end of our democracy. Does democracy not matter to you? Or you're okay with dictator for a day, Donald Trump, Mr. Vitamin Tablet. Dictator for a day. I want a dictator. That's the sensible position. Okay. Gotcha. Speaking of sensible position, asshole grifter and right-wing oligarch Elon Musk. And there it is. Yeah. Okay, Zammy. Well, thank you so much for your very important opinions. Gosh, it's been fun interacting with you. I think we're just going to go ahead and pull that trigger. I just hate free speech, and I'm just so scared and intimidated. You're challenging my ideals so successfully that I need to ban you so that I can, keep my secure safety bubble nice and secure, my safe space, if you will. It's when the right wing is so correct, when they have such good points, I just can't refute them. I just ban people. That's why. Triggered liberal. I'm gonna go send Hillary Clinton an email crying about the deplorables. Oh. But Elon Musk over here knows exactly what he's doing. So now he's talking about voter ID. In the USA, you don't need government-issued ID to vote, and you can mail in your ballot. This is insane. Elon Musk is not stupid. Right-wingers, especially rich right-wingers that say this stuff, understand 100% that if the vote count is reduced, if the amount of people that are eligible to vote is reduced by hook or by crook, obviously the vote count is reduced, and that reduces the amount of votes for left-wing neoliberals, usually Democrats. When the vote count is reduced and suppressed, less neoliberals get into office and more conservatives get into office. Why is that? Because older conservatives, or just conservatives in general, as I've said, are more motivated to vote and are more willing to go through all the process to get the ID and do all that. A lot of lefties, I don't really have the time for it, man. They make some excuse for themselves, but that's just how the numbers show out. That's just a fact. Of course, it needs to change, and I would like to see the left do better, but that's the current dynamic. Like I said, right-wing oligarchs especially know this. This is a direct attack on our electoral system. So, Elon Musk, made his statement here, and then, of course, I didn't click on it. I'm sorry. But, of course, the people, commenting, our entire military votes by mail. Are you claiming they shouldn't be allowed to vote? Yeah, he'd be cool with that. Several states have mail-in voting only. Also, voter registration requires details, so it doesn't matter. All these details don't matter. He knows all that. He doesn't care. It's a lie. You pretend to care about voting integrity and voting fraud. You implement rules and laws that make it harder for people to vote, more hurdles that they have to pass, right? This is a DMV trip now. So now when I vote, I have to go to the DMV, get an ID. Oh, you should have had an ID. A lot of people don't have an ID. They take the bus, they go, work at their job, and then they go home and pay the bills. They don't have a government-issued ID. They don't really need one, or a driver's license. You put these, and you just do all that. You put all these limitations there. You make it harder and harder to vote, and that reduces the number of people who vote. Ergo, more conservatives win. It really is that simple. And there are conservatives in the past who have famously admitted that's exactly what they want to do, is suppress the vote, because that's what happens. Is more conservatives win when less people vote. If you've been following politics, you know this. Everyone trying to correct Elon Musk, get off the website. You got Anonymous, Ashley, London, whoever the hell is. Are you paying Elon Musk while you're shitting on Elon Musk? Honey. Come on. this is left activism, just get off the website. He's not listening to you. The right wing is not listening to you. As exampled in my chat, right? Oh, I just want to repeat all my nonsense. I don't care what you say. I don't care what evidence you present. I just want my nonsense to be repeated over and over and over again. My reality is the only reality. Manufactured by oligarchs and grifters. I'm a poor person who's doing everything possible to defend the rich. I don't know why. But it's the American way. They're not listening. It's a game. It's a weird, bizarre game. That person I just banned and that vitamin tablet guy on Kick. It's a weird game they're playing. And they're on the cusp of winning it. Tesla CEO engaged with some further comments on X. CNN said there wasn't voter fraud, though, so it's okay. CNN never lies. So, peak conservative comedy, according to Elon. Right? Well, of course there's voting fraud. Mass voting fraud. And of course it's benefiting the Democrats. Why else would our terrible ideas and terrible politicians and our terrible representatives of this party are so unpopular? The only reason must be is that some deep state. They know it isn't. They know it isn't. They know they're unpopular. They know it. Mitch McConnell knows the Republican Party is despised. That is the exact reason why he is acting in the way that he's acting. Securing control, installing judges everywhere possible, conservative partisan judges wherever possible. He understands that if democracy were allowed to continue, the Republican Party would turn into the Whigs. Totally irrelevant to a grand majority of the people in the country. Every election cycle losing more and more support as they drift off into irrelevancy. If democracy were allowed to continue unabated. My wife is selling a breast pump. She just wanted to tell me. And Lenny is 100% correct. Now, I mean, there are some edge cases. There's some wackos and weirdos that have tried to double vote or vote for their dead mother and stuff like that. That does happen every election cycle. Is there a mass program of thousands of votes go in one way and then thousands of votes come out the other way? There is no evidence of that. Fraud does exist in our electoral system. It is nowhere close to affecting the outcome of these elections. That's the fact. Oh, and all these allegations and the mules and the evidence and this and that. Nothing has been substantive enough. There has been no smoking gun. There is no evidence to substantiate the claim that our electoral system is favoring Democrats. What happens is the more people that vote, they vote Democrat. The problem Republicans are having is not with fraud, it's with democracy working. So that's got to stop. Just a little addendum to the Elon news here. We're not going to watch this whole 13-minute clip from the Humanist Report. Check it out, though. Make sure you like and subscribe. Great journalist over there. Anthony Figurino, I think, at the Humanist Report. Isn't that him? Or what's his name? Call me from the Humanist Report. His name. Go way down in here. Mike Figurino. Yeah, it is Figurino. We're not going to listen to the whole thing here, but it's just more evidence of suspicious behavior. A lot of these accounts that have been banned have since been unbanned. I think personally what this is a message being sent to left-wing journalists that, your days are numbered. I think that's what's going on. It was maybe it was testing the waters. Basically, to catch you up on the story, left-wing journalists on X, aka Twitter, unceremoniously removed. All happened at the same time. A lot of these accounts came back. Apparently, there was some excuse that it was a glitch. It just so happened to be prominent, popular, left-wing critics all at the same time. Just a big coinky-dink, guys. Just a big coinky-dink. Like I said, we're not going to watch this whole thing, but we're going to get into a few pieces of evidence as soon as my YouTube decides to catch up. There we go.
Well, it turns out that Twitter, the free
Ooh, look at that sweater. I like that sweater, boy. I like that sweater.
speech beacon of the planet, according to Elon Musk and his fanboys, just experienced another purge of not only journalists, but conspicuously Elon Musk critics as well. Harvard Law's Alejandro Caraballo noticed it this morning, writing there was a massive purge of journalists on Twitter. Stephen Zetti of the Texas Observer and Ken Klippenstein of The Intercept. In addition, blogger Rob Rousseau and podcast TrueAnon Pod. She adds, they also got Z Squirrel and Liam Neeson, both shitposting accounts that were critical of Elon and Bill Ackman. Now, when it comes to
and they were popular, like the Z, it's all over the Z. This squirrel is all over the place in left wing, Twitter spaces. Constantly being retweeted. Very similar to that lawyer fellow I showed you.
Squirrel, they said they weren't given a reason for the suspension, but suspects that their criticism of Bill Ackman may be wise since he's friends with Elon Musk.
Bill Ackman.
And when it comes to another account, the Liam Neeson, named Sissy SpaceX, they responded to Elon Musk promoting the white supremacist great replacement theory again, writing, "Get a load of goddamn apartheid Clyde over here," which is hilarious. Now, I just want to pause for a moment to point out that Sissy SpaceX and apartheid Clyde were both temporarily trending on Twitter after Elon Musk banned this account, which is hilarious because this would not happen had he not.
Hey, Vitamin Tablet, you're not going to erase the bullshit that you mentioned earlier by saying something sensible now. Why don't you go ahead and fuck off for me so I don't have to go to the trouble to click over on Kick and ban your ass manually? That would be such a pain in my ass. How about you just fuck off? Wouldn't that be great? So anyway, there you go. Real quick, 1 minute's worth of that. Great coverage. Make sure you check out Mike Figurino at the Humanist Report. Like and subscribe, folks. Great content creator. He's a communist. I don't agree with him on everything. Or maybe he's an anarchist. He's one of those isms that I don't agree with. So, grain of salt. I mean, it's so tough. One person who calls himself a communist can be a very reasonable, progressive person, like doing everything they can to create change. Then the next guy calling himself a communist could be like know little about politics and, because they're just waiting for their revolution. They're not really paying attention to current day-to-day politics. It's just kind of an identity for them. Oh, it's okay. Anyway, I shouldn't rag on the commies so hard all the time. I can't help it. It's so annoying. Wanted to show this tweet here. The Supreme Court allows Idaho to enforce its strict abortion ban even in medical emergencies. This Jared DeLoof fella pointing out, even in medical emergencies, women will be left to die in hospital beds. That is exactly what that means. That is exactly what it means. And it is outrageous that a lot of these laws are being implemented and supported by men who are not in the crosshairs of this. And shame on you if you're a conservative woman supporting politicians that are this extreme, removing your rights for your goddamn book. You claim it's for your book. Except in your fucking book, there's instructions on how to give an abortion. Because you're a hypocrite. You're letting grifters push you around, etc. And if you want a finger to point, go ahead and point that finger at RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who thought she was immortal. And did not step down in the Barack Obama era, died during the Trump administration, giving Trump 3 judges instead of 2. Great job, RBG. What a goddamn progressive lion. RBG. One of the linchpins that was removed so that abortion could be illegal again in the United States. What a feminist icon. It's beyond ironic. Yeah, Lenny. Some of us should be able to live longer, though. You know, it's such a shame. The good do die young. You got Henry Kissinger over here. He's still warm. Look at him, man. Look at this picture was like five years or so before he died. This is when he was a sprightly young man. Fucking Henry. Well, guys, go figure. Judge Eileen Cannon, appointed by Trump, is doing literally everything she can to delay this court case. Yeah, Mitch McConnell looking a little fragile, a little bit. So I just wanted to point this out. Judge Eileen Cannon implementing some procedural rule that may allow, it doesn't directly delay the trial, but it opens the door for Trump to dishonestly allow delays into 2025 for one of the cases. One of them. People in the chat here asking if Jack Smith can do something about it. People pointing out that he could, but he's not. The comments that I wanted to show here, though, have to do with Merrick Garland, because I see this so often. People pointing out how shitty of an AG Merrick Garland is, how it's a dereliction of duty, what Merrick Garland is doing. And then you get the people, oh, it's not really his fault. Oh, he's doing it all. It's not really his fault. It's not really Merrick Garland's fault. Let me find it here. Merrick with a K. Get it over here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so it's actually top comment, blah, blah, blah. This is obvious. I guess it means blah, 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 blah. So glad waited 2 years. Yeah, right here, this guy. So I'm so glad we waited 2 years to even start prosecuting this guy. I know this particular case is more of a recent development and is moving quickly, but we should already be on dude's third or fourth conviction. Instead, we're at 0. And I agree with that. Federally, Merrick Garland wasn't going to bring any charges because he didn't want to deal with the persecution calls you hear now. A terrible excuse to not administer justice. Do you imagine that? Oh, he's a serial killer, but, people would have looked bad. Everyone really liked Jeffrey Dahmer. It would have made us look bad if we killed him. Okay, my wife asked me to check on her. She's selling something. She said she'll be back in 5 minutes. She better be back soon. In any case, I agree they took too long, and I blame Garland. I also find the MAGA hate of Garland hilarious. If Biden hadn't chosen him and instead made a less politically savvy person the AG, Trump would probably already have been convicted of any number of the charges he faces now. Garland made a Trump 2024 run possible through his fear of looking politically biased, and they still hate him. The conservatives. Go check. She's fine. She's just showing another mother a breast pump. She's okay. But anyway, lots of great points made by Merrick Garland, because he is the reason. He is the reason why Trump is not behind bars yet. And I'm not saying the AG has to be a political tool here. All I want the AG to do is follow the evidence and treat Trump like the citizen that he is. But he doesn't want to. Oh, political ramifications of holding a president accountable for crimes. Yeah, here she comes. But there's people over here. Had me worried there, honey. Had me worried. Oh, it was the dad. He had to show a guy how to use a breast pump. Whoops. You did tell him that it's not going to work on him, right? Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to read a couple of these comments pointing out the real issue here, which is the attorney general that Biden put in charge. So when Nick Fuentes is marching down your street and has the full support of the American president, remember who dropped the ball. Remember the politicians that were in power, that had control and didn't act. I'm not saying Joe Biden and the neoliberal Democratic Party are 100% responsible for the actions of the Republicans. Of course not. But if you have power and you don't use it, and then evil takes over, the evil that was laughing in your face and saying, I can't wait to take over, I'm going to do everything I can to destroy you, I'm going to stomp you into irrelevance, and I'm going to take over this country, and you have the power to not even be biased, but just to uphold current law, uphold the current standard of justice. And you don't do that because you're a coward, because you're afraid. That's a crime. That's a crime against democracy, against our stability. And it's not a good excuse. It's not good enough that you're too fucking scared to treat a citizen like a citizen. Oh, we so rich and powerful and connected. Ooh. Tiki torches. Oh, tiki torch. Not more tiki torches. Oh, we can't do justice now. Oh, they might march in the streets and say bad things. They have guns. That's who's running this party. Like I said, I don't want to see a partisan installed doing the bidding of Joe Biden. I just want to see a guy that gives a shit about the law. Follow the evidence, follow the money, and convict the person for the crimes they've committed. Such a hot take. Smoking. More evidence of what I was talking about. This is a link from the chat. Who knows where it was buried? FBI resist. This was from last year, June of last year. Washington Post here. FBI resisted opening probe into Trump's role in January 6th for more than a year. Huh? Oh, that's not. Oh, put that on the shelf. The BLM protester who said the FBI is stinky doo-doo. We got a, 6-month stakeout. Oh, the Trump January 6th. We'll get to that. I don't know. Not that big a deal. A year. More than a year. Traitor, seditionist, insurrectionist, fascist. We'll get to it. Is there a lefty group doing a protest on single-payer health care? Oh, get on the phone! Get on the phone! Hurry! Go! We got to stop that. Democracy might happen. It's more evidence of what I'm talking about. You want to read the whole article? It's right here. No one seems to give a shit. I don't know. Is anyone even in the chat? No one's even commenting. No one gives a flying fuck about their democracy. That's it, too, isn't it? We're going to have to wait until the shit is collapsing. And then, oh, no, what happens? What do I do? Oh, it's not my fault. Oh, no. I wasn't paying attention till now. Oh, my God, what's going on? Kind of a huge, massive miscarriage of justice. I sleep. That's not a Bravo housewife of New York. That's not some catty 50-year-old bitch talking about her dead husband's fortune on Bravo. Well, it's only a massive miscarriage of justice that might lead to the complete dissolvement of fucking democracy Complete derelict of duty and justice. Did PewDiePie say something? Did PewDiePie say something? Oh, no. No, he didn't? Okay. Sleeping like a baby, huh? Yeah? You can't wait for your new American future with fascist Trumpy Dumpy? How is he gonna make your life any better? Never forget. How is Trump gonna make your life better? Like, directly. You know? I guess Davey was correct. U.S. news is boring. No one gives a shit. Fuck it, who cares? Most powerful country in the world turning into a fascist dictatorship. This is that Iraq news I was promising. No one gives a shit. But yeah, we're actually still in Iraq, spending billions of dollars every year to maintain bases because oil. Could we get some of this oil? Maybe make that price lower? You know how many Americans would be pro-Iraq war if it legitimately led to lower oil prices? They'd put that shit at the bumper sticker on their truck. Fuck Iraq. Gas is $1 a gallon. Woo! But no, we can't even. What are you getting out of Iraq? What have I gotten out of Iraq? I can't think of a single thing that I've benefited from because of our efforts in Iraq. You know what I'm saying? How has this made Americans' lives better? How is this a good investment of our money and resources? Iraqi officials privately signaled they want U.S. forces to stay. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe the corrupt Iraqi officials who have had all the time in the world to establish a stable government, but failed to do so because they were really busy stuffing money in their pockets, thinking that the good times will never end. Maybe because they don't have any legitimacy, and the millisecond the United States leaves, what, Sunni and Shia, right? Is that Iraq? Somewhat, big power vacuum. Maybe it'll take less time. Maybe the Iraqi army will stick around longer than 14 hours, unlike the Afghanistan army. The army that we pumped literally trillions of dollars into. That's how much your money got you over there in Afghanistan. Oh, thank you, dear. That's what your $4 trillion got you in Afghanistan. I think Davey made a correction on those numbers earlier. I was slightly off. Maybe it's $4 trillion total for Iraq and Afghanistan so far. That's what it got. 14 hours of independence of the Afghanistan military before it literally completely collapsed. So yeah, Iraqi officials might be a little worried about U.S. leaving. Is the U.S. going to leave? Is Joe Biden signaling that he's ready to go? Where's my beats? I noticed you didn't answer my question. Never forget. Iraqi's prime minister privately told American officials that he wants to negotiate keeping U.S. forces in the country, despite his recent announcement that he would begin the process of removing them from the country. So he's playing politics with his citizens. Oh, we got to get rid of the white U.S. devils. They got to go. Give me your vote. And then privately, he's like, please don't go. Please don't go. Oh, these American occupiers, they have to go. I'm going to kick them out immediately. Vote for me. Could we stay another year? Could we get an extension on that? Please? Hopefully, huh? Yeah? You want to see total bedlam and chaos in America? How would that benefit you? That'll make your life better? Chaos? Maybe the extreme right wing doesn't pay our debt and the dollar completely collapses, ruining our economy and destroying America. That would be a good thing? Do tell. Senior advisors to Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani told U.S. officials that his declaration was, quote, an attempt to satisfy domestic political audiences, literally admitting it. God, this is pathetic. And that Sundai himself remained committed to negotiating the coalition's further presence in Iraq. Well, literally. He literally did what I said. I mean, Lenny, they've made their money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, like, they would, they'd probably, make a couple phone calls. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's Ukraine, it's Israel, right? That's the real money. The United States government doesn't want any heat for blowing up people in Iraq. The Biden administration does not want to remind Americans that we're in Iraq by doing another drone strike, like Obama over here. There's been public uproar in Iraq over a U.S. drone strike last week that killed a senior Iran-backed militia member in Baghdad. The Sudanese office announced on Friday that his government is putting together a bilateral committee to end the presence of U.S.-led international military coalition focused on preventing a resurgence of the Islamic State. How well's that going? But at what point does the Islamic State get to declare victory? 20 years of resistance to the United States, and the United States hasn't succeeded in its goal of eliminating them? That's a victory. Is it safe to say the Islamic State is more powerful than the U.S. military? Drugs are more powerful than the entire United States. Drugs are more powerful. Drugs won the war on drugs without even fighting. Iraq's willingness to keep U.S. troops in the country is critical for the Biden administration. What? The U.S. sees its presence in Iraq as important for not only preventing a resurgence of ISIS, but also for countering Iranian influence in the region. That's why we're not getting the oil, but that's why we're not leaving. Boy, that war with Iran. I feel like we're on a TV show, and it keeps dropping hints about what next season is going to look like. You know what I mean? That war with Iran, man, looking more and more likely. A lot of language, a lot of movement from Iran. How they're going to have to do another false flag to get America involved in an invasion of Iran. But that's the thing. America doesn't have to put boots on the ground. We got drones, we got planes, and we have the Israeli military for the boots on the ground. But my question is, if America legitimately goes to the Israeli government and cashes that check and say, okay, we're doing it, Iranian invasion, get ready, boy, we're actually doing it. I think the Israeli government would bitch out. Oh, well, this is like a legitimate military, not a bunch of rock-throwing, Arab children that we're shooting at. Now, with that said, the Israeli military can hold its own. It's not that it's not capable or powerful. It's both of those things. But the morale, okay? Really easy to get an Israeli person to hate a Palestinian. That's part of being raised in Israel, is learning how to hate Palestinians, but Arabs in general. A little bit more difficult to tell an Israeli soldier and an Israeli family that they need to risk their children, their men, their young adults that are just from their family there, sent off to the war or the front lines. Well, it's a sacrifice that needs to be made. We gotta go after Iran. Have a harder sell than destroying the Palestinian. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, man. I think Israel is gonna poop out. Yeah, we're gonna cash that check and like, all right, this is why we've been supporting you all this time, and they're gonna do kind of half-hearted attempt. I don't want to dedicate my entire military to a war with Iran. No. I could be wrong though. All right. Well, no one gives a shit. I haven't seen any comments in the chat for about 5 minutes. I have full coverage here. Had segments set up for murder, Palestine, and Ukraine. But Davey was correct. No one gives a shit about the U.S. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut the stream off. Go ahead and do something important with my life. I think 3.5 hours of news is good enough. No one really seems interested in doing more. So. Won't get any better until it gets worse, and we hope to see. Yes, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with this chaos theory that we need to we need to have a major cataclysm before we actually get better. I think people that want that, they really just want to see the world burn. They're really just more curious to see what happens when the restraints are removed. All right, everybody. Thank you to the people that showed up. Sorry I was so boring. Sorry my show is so terrible and doesn't keep your attention. Sorry my attempt to give you real news is boring and driving you away. Hey, no problem. Cats all the way down. Thank you so much for being here so consistently and being here so long. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Zeoduke, for showing up. Sorry you missed a majority of the stream. Thank you, Never Forget, brother, I think. Anyway, peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Take care of yourself. Please call your mother. She misses you. Bye-bye. I'm gonna go clean my garage. Go do something productive today.